Nova Cup viewers, hello, hello, welcome back. We have another day of amazing Legion TD2 games ahead of us, and with me to help cast, it's none other than our boy Sculptroll, looking particularly handsome today, I must say.
Oh my God, thank you so much, Penny. I'm so glad to be here again. It's been such a long time and I've been missing it so much.
I gotta say, what a cracking shirt you have there. That's a very suave number.
I mean, to be fair, if you look back through all my cast, it's been the same shit every time. It's kind of been a thing for me because I was like looking back at some of my older cast and I was like, okay, I'm wearing the same shit every time. And then a couple of times back, it's like I have to just wear this every time.
Yeah, yeah. And have you moved? I see some new settings there for your background.
Uh, yeah, I moved, but that was it's the same place as last time we did the cast.
Mm. Oh, very good, very good. Well, Sculptural, we've got some exciting games ahead of us today. The first match we are going to watch is none other than our usual casting partner, Offma. He's teaming up with Adams, so a pretty solid team
Ooh.
there. And for their first match, they are playing up against, let me just double check, it is Dark Quacker and Fine. So pretty interesting match there. I know Fine in particular has been grinding the ladder lately. He is like a 3k peak player. He's much better than Kid K, for example. And I just think it should be a pretty good match. While Adams and Offmer on the other side, Adams has won one of the Cups already this year, but he did have Aviator on his team then. And Offmer is just always a pretty consistently high performing player as well. So I think this should be a pretty interesting match. On the face of it, I would probably favour Offmer and Adams, just in terms of, Adams has a ton of tournament experience. He's won Nova Cup already. Um, while Fine and Dark Quacker, they're both very good players in their own right, but I think they just haven't quite got that Division One experience in the same way that Offmer and Adams have. So I think it should be an interesting match, but I do give a slight edge to Offmer and Adams. What about yourself?
I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting, that's for sure. Of course, yeah, Adam's always a solid player.
Hmm.
Ofma, I hope he's a better player than a caster, but no, I didn't. I didn't say that. Who said that? He's a great caster. I don't know what I'm saying.
Throwing shade
Uh,
already. Let's go.
it is my style, you know. I mean, it's all I got, really. I'm a shit player myself, so
So just slinging mud from the
yes, of
safety
course.
of the
I
casting
mean,
couch.
what
Yeah.
else can I do?
Fair
Can't even
enough.
get
Fair enough,
I
man.
can't even get to 2800.
Yeah.
Who else can't? I
And,
mean, of
and
the
and
casters at
something
least.
else as well that I think is going to be really interesting this month is that we have had a pretty major patch come out on Tuesday this week, so literally 5 days ago, and that has changed a bunch of stuff. So pathing and targeting might function quite differently. There's a bunch of buffs and nerfs to various units and mercenaries and stuff like that. And but I
New
think
unit.
yeah, new units as well. Yeah, the Goblin
Yeah,
Copter, so pretty interesting
yeah.
one.
Range tier 1
Range tier
DPS.
one, really good in Fiesta. I think it's a
Yeah.
brilliant Fiesta opener. Yeah, because what you place it on wave one, it holds a snail on wave one. You're chilling. You don't need to add on wave two, and it's a 33% leak by itself. So it's like a really good six workers aggressive Fiesta opener. I think it's a great unit. And other than that, just the unupgraded form is brilliant to use in your split for kiting. So really good, really interesting unit. But I think the thing that's going to maybe define this Nova Cup the most is the pathing and targeting changes, because I don't know that players have had that long to adapt to them, and I think we might see some splits going a bit funny, some ranged units in particular maybe running it down where they would have been fine in the previous patch, and I think we might see one or two players tripping up over that kind of thing this time around. But we'll have to see. I think it's going to be interesting, and I do actually kind of like this in a way. I like the fact that this Nova Cup is going to favour players who are able to adapt faster than others, It's not necessarily about just doing the same builds over and over and over.
Yeah, it's really great seeing the play styles and whatever people are doing
Yeah,
uh, changing a bit.
for sure,
That-
for sure.
just seeing the same things all the time just gets stale in the long run, right?
Yeah, so I really like that. I really like um, the ability for players who can adapt faster, who maybe put in the time to learn the new pathing and stuff like that, just having a little bit of an edge over the competition. So we'll have to see how that one pans out and whether there are any players who stand out in that regard as we go through this tournament. But I'm excited to get into this first game. So the lobby is available. We should get the show on the road in a second. And I've heard from Offmer that Adam's mic is broken, so they need a second there. So a little bit more padding time from us, Stealth Troll.
Tell him to try turning his headphones on.
Yeah,
I've heard that's a great
you,
fix
right?
to things. Yeah.
Yeah,
For the viewers who don't know, I was all set up and ready, and then I couldn't figure out why the hell I couldn't hear Penny and why he couldn't hear me, and it turns out that I had not turned my headphones on.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a little bit of a technical issue, but luckily that was all sorted out before the cast.
A good thing I've been technical support, right? So I tried turning it off and turning off and turn back on. Except I didn't get to the turning it off part. I just tried turning it on. Yeah.
Turn it on basically generally helps.
I'm one step ahead of technical support, basically.
Yeah. All right, here we go, guys. So enough padding, enough of our technical troubles, because here we go. Game number 1 of the April Nova Cup, I had to remember what month it was there, is underway. It's Offmadams on the left versus Lewandowski versus Policic on the right. Let's go.
We got some interesting picks already. We got Cartel, Fiesta. I mean, okay, sorry, I said interesting. We got some standard picks here with Cartel, Fiesta from Fine and Dark Quacker. Always love to see it. Oh, Offma going with the cash out.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. Very good.
Let's see if he gets something good. He can open with either Avenger or Gate. I doubt he's gonna do it though.
I don't think he will. No, he can.
No,
I just don't think.
Oh wait, he has 271 gold, which means he masterminded it, right?
Oh, he actually megaminded, yeah. Offma with the big ball play there. Take Megamind out of the pool early on. Remember, it is conquest format, right? So.
Yeah. Adams with greed, so we like to see greed.
Yeah, pretty standard stuff there. Nothing much.
We don't have any aggressive spells coming out though. We have Loan, which will not be picked because there's no reason to pick it.
Yep.
But we have Embargo and Investment. So we either see some aggressive play coming out 13-14, or we're just gonna see a nice late game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And this kind of spell setup really favors things which are strong on 11 and 12.
Yeah. Look at Fine going for the Infernal Oathbreaker, and we might see the late game, or not the late game, but like the final upgrade for it.
Yeah, I really like the upgraded form, the final form Oathbreaker.
And Quacker with the Windhawk.
Yep,
perfect
really
Fiesta
good
opener.
Fiesta opener. So he's having a bit of a juicer
because you don't know if it's Fiesta or not. Because like if you just have a Windhawk and you're just not Fiesta, you might still go for the Hawk.
Mm-hmm.
It's really strong, just going for the 5 workers and then doing something else on 2. But he has the 6 workers already.
Yeah.
And we see the double snail coming out from Fine and Quacker, of course, because there was a leak and they both started 5 workers. So, of course, they're gonna do it.
Yeah, but we do see so Offma is adding a tier 1, so he should be completely fine. And obviously Adams with the Sakura is just in no danger of leaking. But this is a really nice setup already for Dark Quacker, right? Because he's playing Fiesta, he's receiving from a Sakura, so he's not really under any pressure. This is pretty juicy for him. Is he able to leak here, though? I think with the Aqua, he should be holding there against the no-save.
Yeah, there's a split on the fighters.
Yeah, it's an easy hold.
That's a definite hold, but it's a 6-worker hold, so even if you're not getting the Fiesta gold, you still have 6 workers on 2.
Yep.
You're not going to be too worried about that. Interesting.
Now, is Offma holding? It looks like yes, right?
Holding. Yeah, it still has 200 or 150 HP remaining.
Mm-hmm.
That's a definite hold.
Long wave, though. The long wave does favour the team with the higher workers, and Fine and Quacker both having a 1-worker lead over their opponents.
Quacker with the Lizard, but the Lizard's not going to do anything. It just gives him 12 gold this time around.
Yeah, that's completely fine. Now, Offmer, he does actually have the Scallywag Tree of Life combo if he wants to play for it. We'll have to
But
see if he goes
it
that
got
route
nerfed.
or not.
It got nerfed quite a bit though.
It did get nerfed, that's true.
It's gonna be interesting to see what happens on Fine's way lane. Oh, okay, he has the Harpy as well, so he has 2 cats,
Yeah,
the
he's
Oathbreaker
gonna
and
be
the Harpy.
completely
He's gonna be
fine
more
here.
than fine, yeah.
Yeah.
The Oathbreaker's just gonna go ham. But Quacker holding as well. Easy hold, 7 workers. Probably just gonna be holding and just being allowed to push hard.
Yeah,
8
he's on
workers.
8 workers now, so Quacker is taking the lead, and this is exactly
Yeah.
what we want to see from let's call them the underdogs in this particular matchup, where Quacker in particular I think is quite a bit lower elo than the other players in the lobby.
Actually, I'm pretty sure that right now. Oh yeah, it is. It's Adams who's lower. Like Adams is.
Oh, Adams, wow, he's been doing some inting it seems on the ladder. Adams is
Yeah.
actually green badge right now.
Fine is looking the strongest at 200 elo above Adams, but that doesn't mean you should count out Adams at all. Elo does not necessarily represent skill.
Yeah, no, of course. And Quacker has always kind of overperformed his elo when it comes to tournament play. I feel like he kind of pulls it out the bag here. But this is quite a big leak, 67% to a dragon
big
turtle.
leak. But he is 8 workers and he is Fiesta.
He is 8 workers.
And
I think he
Fine
still would have
is
liked
gonna be just fine.
a slightly smaller leak than 67% to a DT.
Of
though,
course,
you know?
like, yeah. And let's see, there's a Fiend coming out now, and his build is not looking great for 8
No.
or 5, I mean, which is why he didn't push any workers at all.
Meanwhile, this Cannoneer into Fine could be dangerous. He has got a Sea Dragon, but this is a non-tanking Sea Dragon. So normally what you want is for the Sea Dragon to tank the boss.
The cannon is gonna nuke the Oathbreaker.
Yeah, and then the Oathbreaker just won't really get any value out of its ability.
I mean, the value is quite low on Fine and Quacker.
It is. And Quacker's actually very strong here, though. Like, the Seraphim just one-shots the Scorpion King, so even though he's 100 undervalue, I think he might do quite well. And worth pointing out as well, neither Offmer or Adams actually sent post-income. So they just sent their income mercenaries, and then they saved their Mythium post-income, and as a result, they're actually doing very well. Yeah, so a very pro leak there from Quacker, 33%. Problem is that Fine is leaking as well. It would have been nice if one of them was able to cover. Yeah, it's not much king damage, but this is gold lost for Fine, gained for Offmer, and, you know, they're going to take 5% king damage or something here instead of one of the players being able to cover the other.
But the king damage is not going to be detrimental.
No.
But interesting, throughout this wave, at the beginning of the wave, it was 61-39 in favor of Fine and Quacker, but now it's 52-48 in favor of Man Adams.
I have a feeling that might be about to change, though, because check out these bad boys, Scott. We've got the double mimics coming out here. They're looking fantastic. The mimic is going to chew through this spectral scallywag, I think. Now, the Treant, of course, is great against it because it's 20% buffed and all the rest of it. Adams, though, he goes for the alpha male here, so he is expecting the mimic. He does build against it.
I think Adam's gonna be okay here, right?
Adams might do quite well, but Offmer, on the other hand, he is getting his Spectral Scallywag chewed away by that mimic. This is going to be a big leak on him. And that's 94% for Offmer.
Adams is going to leak as well, right?
He is going to leak as well.
Sakura is not going to duel the mimic.
No, he's only leaking the mimic, so that's something. But this is going to be decent king damage here. Remember, we saw 6% damage done against Lewandowski versus Policic. But this is going to be a lot more than 25%. Yeah.
Might even be way more than that.
They're dropping. And the Mimic Gold as well, remember. Now, Quacker's Mimic only got 3 gold, which is pretty sad, honestly. But Fine's Mimic, that was 15 gold on that bad boy. And here we go, 57% HP remaining for Adams and Offmer. I mean...
And Adams was on value when the wave started, or when the build began, but his value is Sakura and Alpha Male, so of course he adds 2 Peewees. I wonder if that's enough though. There's a Brood and
Oh,
Brood and
Offman's going to be absolutely fine. He has the Tree of
yeah.
Life here. I don't think he's leakable to like 100 cent.
But the thing is the Sakura surviving, or is it gonna take another hit?
Yeah, I think Adam's probably leaks. Like, he's got good value. He's actually plus 50, but
Yeah, but his
it's
value is
natural armor for
so
his
poor here.
tank. It's Sakura, which is just dead value. This is actually quite a decent leak, it looks like. He is targeting the
We
Brute.
get Brood there, but he's gonna leak the rest here.
Yeah. That's a 50% leak for Adams while being 50 over value. But we
and
have
this-
got Offmer over here. Easy holding. Where's my jewels? There he is. Let's go.
Scalawag's gonna hold and cover everything, of course, but it's still, it's 2 waves in a row that Sakura went down.
Yeah.
Nobody likes that. And Offma has 2 candy, 2 pixies, which, I mean, they died last wave, but that was not the greatest wave.
Yeah.
Oof. One is stalling. There we go.
Yeah, I've seen that happen
Interesting.
in a couple of games, actually,
Interesting.
where units just go, nah, I'm not interested in fighting, I'm just going to chill.
Can we get jewels on this?
Now, we do have another income send here from Fine and Quacker. Adams and Offma, they are saving their Mythium, so assuming that they both hold here, which
Yeah.
they might.
Fine is not going for a leak. We see the dancer coming out of Quacker.
We have got the final form Oathbreaker is upgraded here, Scottroll, so you do get to see this
Ooh.
bad boy in action. There's no send here. I would expect to see it coming on 9 or 10 now. Offmer and Adams, they both have over 200 Mythium, so they are presenting a pretty real threat now against Fine and Quacker. Is this going to be another leak for Adams, though? Against
looks
the Dino
like it,
Snail
right?
King Ops? I think it is, yeah.
No. Oh, is it?
Oh,
No,
a
it's
very small leak. This
it
is
is
pro
a leak. It
though.
is a leak. Oh, but that's way worse than just the 25%. The 25% doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What matters is the Sakura not getting a stack for the 3rd wave in a row.
Sure, but it does give them a lot of time for their send. Now we have the
Yeah.
Ogre Brute coming out from both Offmer and Adams, and if you're Fine and Quacker, what is your answer here? So Fine can do something like another Oathbreaker, but he's rather going for the Lioness. I don't know. I actually would love to see him
the
have like a
Leviathan
second
coming out
Oathbreaker.
here.
Yeah, they're not building for this wave. They're building for 10.
Oh, yeah, they expected 10.
They're not
Interesting.
expecting the send here, and they might pay for this very badly because actually they both have very good options here, but they're building for the wrong wave.
If Offman and Adams want to come back in this game, they need to
Yeah,
get something out of this wave.
I think they will. I think this is going to be pretty big because we did
Oh,
see.
look at the Oathbreaker. It took like it tanked 1 minion. I was tanking another.
And now
But it's not going to be tanking
full
anything
tank,
until
right?
it's tanking everything. That's not
Yeah.
how you want your Oathbreaker to
And
be.
it is going to pop
doing.
off now, get some healing. The healing has extra value because it has the damage reduction, but yeah, it needed to split tank. It really needed to split tank.
So how much? But what's going to be interesting because look at Jules right now. 75-25. What will it say after this?
Yeah, I think this might change things a little bit because they're going to take a ton of damage here.
5 spells, but the threat are the ogres, and there's no
Yeah.
attack to.
What I want
at
to
how
say
it-
though is that Fine and Quacker, because they called it wrong, right? They expected a wave 10 send, they built for the wrong
Yeah.
wave, but at the same time they also saved their Mythium as a result of that. So
But
now they're
Fine just doing income. Quacker's going for the ogre.
yeah, okay. So
But-
what I was going to
but-
say is that they had potential for a counterattack, but now they're just releasing that potential, right? Because Fine's going for an income send.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the worker difference, 17-16 versus 13-15.
Yeah, that's
What's going to
something.
be interesting is what will happen after this wave. Are we going to see a leak out of Adamus? He doesn't really. Oh, okay. Never mind me saying he doesn't have anything. He just added
Aw.
2 berserkers and a warg.
He just re-rolled for that,
Adamus-
right? Yeah.
Adamus is fine.
Yeah, he's giga chilling here. The double berserker should chew through the boss
the
pretty
berserkers
quickly.
are really good. It's amazing how much they do actually.
The
and-
ogre in Offmer's lane is no longer to be seen, so
That
he might go for
what'll
a
happen
bit of a
with the gate?
leak, but it's only going to be very, very small.
no, because then it's just gonna kill the pixie, and then the minions are just
Oh
gonna
yeah,
shock the boss. Look at it.
Hellgate OP, I guess.
Well, I mean, if you have a Hellgate on 10, of course it's gonna be strong.
Yeah.
It's so early to have a fully upgraded tier 6 unit.
And then we have the egg coming out from Adam's here as
Yeah.
well.
Work is still a bit in the favor of Quacker, but everything is evened out. Jules says it's even as well. But now we see which bells. We have 2 embargoes, which means the eggs just gonna pop off right away, and we see the investment. So, I mean, we're probably gonna see 14 cents. It has to be 14, right?
I would
Because
love
we have...
this to be an Adam's egg, but I just don't think it will be.
No, he's fine.
He is fine.
There are no cents.
Yeah.
This has to be 14 from the embargo. The question is, will Ofma and Adams be able to persevere through it? They're not
Yeah.
really looking the greatest, both having Sakura. The gate is not great on 14. I don't see the...
Yeah, Adams doesn't
what's
really
the-
have anything for 14. I mean, he's got the,
No.
the banana bunk in there, but ogres make pretty quick work of that. What, is this going to be an Adam's egg? I think it's looking close, honestly. Like,
Oh,
if there
both
was,
their Sakuras went down.
no. Any send at all here, in fact,
Oh
yeah,
my
this
god,
is this is just an Adam's egg. Let's
just,
go.
no, Adamus.
A very good emote usage there coming out.
Oh,
I was gonna say, like, the egg is so good in an embargo game. It's so good because you don't get the big send on 11, they can't send on 12, and then it pops on 13 for when you're like actually under threat. But
Yep.
if you're a Dams, I guess you just get your egg killed for free, and it doesn't quite have the same effect.
I guess he's attempting to make some omelets.
Yeah. Does he go for another one though?
No, he can't. He can't because the point is that you're safe 11, 12. But then what happens 13, right? And
I think that the thing would be like if you're just reading that it has to be a 14 send, you know?
yeah, imagine if like, did he have 15 or 30 more gold? Because then he puts like 2 seedlings seedling in front and another seedling on the right. And then Sakura doesn't go down, and then the Sakura is able to do its magic damage all throughout the wave, and then he's gonna be fine. But the Sakura went down on both sides.
Yeah, and the rest was history. We might see this thing die again, by the way, in Offner's lane. Ah, no, the gate creeps are way too tanky. Never mind.
They also have Tree of Life, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
That's pretty insane value there. That gate is gonna pop off.
But 14, what are they doing? 14.
Yeah, 14 is looking pretty scary, Scarv. It
And
really is.
and Adam showed the banana bong already, so it's just gonna be 4 brutes out of Quacker or something.
Yeah. We have some pretty serious Mythium numbers, actually. Fine and Quacker, 500, 600. Offner and Dams are not terribly far behind. They're both around the 440 mark, but...
Yeah, but 4 brood hermit from Quack. No, okay, wait, it's fine against Adams, of course, so it's just gonna be 3 brutes.
Yeah.
Mimic, maybe.
Now,
three
Jules
ogres,
is
I mean.
giving a 62% lead to Fine and Quacker. They were a bit scared here, though. They did go for a few king upgrades, which is curious because Fine is 135 overvalue. So I would have liked to see them just be confident here.
And look, we were too focused on the Adamus egg, but what's on the right side? It's fine. With a fully
hatched
popped Hydra link showing how it's done.
Yeah.
So, if they were underdogs, I doubt they are anymore. Ooh,
Right.
look, Fine is actually not going for the ogres. He's going for the Kraken and the pack leader.
That might be a mistake, honestly. Like, the Kraken, it should... I mean, it will tank, right? It's going to go to the right-hand side. It's going to nullify all of the damage there. But the ogres, it just seem like so value against these havens in Adam's lane.
Yeah. But I do love the Kentaur and the ogre and the pack leader and the brood and the
For sure.
Robo out of Quacker.
Yeah.
So Fine might have misplayed a little bit. We don't know.
But Fine is he's 80 overvalue here, so he should do pretty well. Although his tanks are a lot of like Hydras and Alpha Males and stuff, so very natural armor based. Quacker, he's a little bit under. He looks like he's doing pretty well. Damn, see, the Kraken is doing work there. It is tanking
Yeah.
nicely. Offmer, meanwhile, 129% leak from him. Adams does now kill the
And
Kraken, but he's still leaking
I'm gonna call it
63%.
right now that this is over.
Yeah, fine holds, fine holds. So Offmer
Yeah.
and Adams, it does look like they're dead here on wave 14. And yeah, Fine and Quack are the underdogs. They are taking game number 1 here. Wow, that's pretty impressive stuff.
Very well played. But I mean, it was also Greed and Fiesta,
Yeah.
which is probably the strongest team play combo.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to see what they'll be able to pull out of the bag when that's gone.
Yeah, so they can't play that again. Cartel and Fiesta are gone now for Fine and Quacker. But let's just have a quick look at how they took this one to victory. So a bit of a pro leak there. The 67% on 4 for Quacker. Did some savey saves. We had some very small leaks on 5. But then we got this 220 send and a 180 against the Dams on 6.
Those are massive sends.
Those are
Like,
huge
what is
sends.
even up with that?
220 on 6 is like unreal amounts of Mythium.
Yeah.
And obviously Offmo's leaking huge versus that. So they get some serious king damage done. Do go for a resend. Adams leaks again on 8. Now they did take some pretty big king damage themselves on 9 against these 300 sends. But
Yeah, but they were just so far ahead,
yeah,
and
they were in a decent spot. The embargo pickup was very nice. It gave them the extra gold and mythium they needed, which means that they had better value on 14 and just way more mythium on 14 as well. And that led them to a pretty pronounced victory here against Off Madame. So really well played there by Lewandowski and Pulisic. I really hope I'm
700
pronouncing that properly, by the way.
740 against Offma on wave 14.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just brutal, man.
Yeah. So
I mean,
off Madame's, I think they're certainly very capable of taking this to a game 3. But they
Oh,
are
yeah.
playing for match point now. So Fine and Quacker, if they can upset here, this is going to be pretty exciting stuff, right? Because Adams, I think he was the February Nova Cup champion, and Offmer, just obviously all-around good player, and caster. So it'd be pretty cool to see Fine and Quacker upset them here in the very first round of Nova Cup.
Would be something, right?
All right. I mean, I was giving them a pretty good edge at the start. I probably would have said something like 60-40 in favour of Off Madame's, maybe even as much as 70-30. But after seeing that first game, I have to say, Fine and Quacker, they were on a higher level than Off Madame's here. Like, their gameplay was cleaner, their send strategy seemed better. I didn't like their Wave 10 send, actually. That did seem like a mistake. But other than that one, they played it very, very clean, I have to say. But anyway, guys, we're about to get into game number 2 straight away, and we'll have to see what Offmer and Adams can do to bring this series back to a tie. Let's go.
Fine with the Megamind.
What do you think about these Legion spells, Scoff?
I mean, I doubt we're going to see Lizard Army.
Oh, no, sorry. There's only 2 Legion spells in this game, right? I don't
Yeah.
even... There's one in the middle. I've got no idea what that is. It's just
oh,
like...
what is that?
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, Protector or Magician depends on the role of players.
Yeah, so there's no aggressive spells in this game. There's only 2 buff spells. We'll have to see
Cartel
who can use
Chaos
the
out of Man Adams and Quacker with the Megamind Castle.
Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting, but the Legion spells are they're definitely pointing towards a late game right? So the castle is gonna be great for Fine.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
And what do we see out of Quacker? He starts with the Nightmare Opener.
So Quacker has an interesting first few waves now, because what he can do if he wants is something like Nightmare 5 Workers, Oathbreaker on 3, and then just shift for the Priestess on 5. I think that's a pretty... Well, it's certainly a doable angle. It's just a question of whether he wants to push a bit more and maybe just add a tree on 5 or something like that. Oh, but Fine has the Casket Atom. This is a really strong start. A really strong start. If he was any other mastermind than Castle, he could quite easily be 7 or even 8 workers on wave 3.
Yeah, but we'll see what he'll do here. He'll probably be able to have a pretty great push anyway. And the waves are fast,
Yep.
so...
Yeah, he's definitely going to go 6 workers. I think the Atom Casket is just a very, very strong opener. Not really weak before, I don't know, maybe wave 6 or something like that.
You see an interesting build out of Ofmer, I think, with the bank. Like he's 3 workers. He has the pack rat, and he has the banker as well. So a lot of economy gained from his fighters, right?
Yeah, interesting is right, because his board also looks very, very weak, right? So he's going for a bit of an alternative strategy, farming gold from the banker, farming Mythium from the rat, but he has neither workers nor a strong board, so we'll have to see how he plays this one.
He is at 4 workers now, and he has got the Mythium from the rat.
Yeah.
And of course the veteran is not bad here, and it's gonna be tanking what 2/3 of the wave. So we're gonna be seeing the banker and the pack rat just clearing out the wave on the left side.
He's going to be fine, but he's also only receiving a snail here, so
yeah,
he feels a little bit overbuilt. Meanwhile, Quacker going for an interesting positioning here with his Nightmare Oathbreaker. I've done similar myself and basically had this result as well, where the Nightmare just runs it down against the left side of the wave, but it looks like he's going to be fine because he only received a Lizard. I think if it's Lizard Snail, it can actually go quite badly, but like this, it's just perfect for him.
Yeah. But Ofma still sitting on 60 Mythium here. And he's still sitting on 60 Mythium here.
Okay, he looks like he's going for a big wave 5 send then against Fine. Oh, and with Fine going for the Cage of Pain upgrade here, that just makes him pretty vulnerable on the 5th wave, or even worse on the 6th.
I was thinking that you said that the Casket and the Atom did look weak before 6, but 5 is not a great way for it either.
5 can go okay, depending, because the Atom tanks the boss, the Casket tanks everything else, and as long as he has some other single target damage, he might do okay. He also has that Treant in his role, which is brilliant on wave 5.
Oh, yeah, that's a great wave 5, and we're definitely going to be seeing 1 Treant here.
But Ofmer is committing to the cringe, so he does save his Mythium once again. And while I was saying that Fine can do okay on 5, I think he looks really weak on 6.
He's going to be putting down the Treant here and the Harpy.
Mm-hmm.
And a bit of a split with the Electron here. But yeah, the 6 is going to be risky for Fine.
Alright, so Ofmer getting the 100 send here, but he does have plus 10 with his Bigwig upgraded already. His board is very weak though. Is the Bigwig even going to be enough? I think it still has to be, right? It just has so much value, and he only received an income send.
There's maybe if this was behind as well. Yeah, if these were Robos and a Snail, that's a different story, right?
Or like Brute Robo, something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, but here comes the full send now. So Ofmer with the double brute, Dams with the imps into Quacker, and they're both... Well, actually, Fine is pretty much on value when he finishes building. The problem is his units are really weak here, like really, really weak.
Yeah, Cage of Pain on 6, you don't like that. The Atom is great, of course. The Atom's always great on 6.
I think he's
he adds another Treant, but Treant is like, it has good damage, but it has bad defense.
Yeah, I think this is about the best thing he can do here. He's used his gold perfectly. He's got the 0 gold buff going on. Double Treant, both with high buff stacks.
The wave is just focusing the same unit, and it's going to keep on rolling through the same unit.
Pretty quickly though, so that's dead now. Can he attack the other one? He can. So both brutes going down. He's going to leak still, of course.
But it's still going to be 50%.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, and what we see on the other side is 42%.
Yeah, 42.
Oh, it's only 33% of Fine.
33 for Fine. Okay, this is pretty good.
Some might say he's just fine.
He is doing just fine. Now, they're going to take some damage, but this is nothing like what we saw on Wave 6 in the last game, right? So, Lewandowski, Pulisic, they're dropping down to around 85, 84%, something like this. But
That's not too shabby.
they're in a much better spot than Off-Madams were last game.
But Offma, he's starting to make some bank off this big wig.
Yeah, he is.
So I think he's gonna be pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
He's gonna know that a big set is coming in on 8, right? Because he has so much damage invested in impact.
For sure. And Quacker has a decent amount of Mythium, 130 for him there. So, he's actually... Oh, wait. Offma, getting cold feet with that back rat. Does get it back on the ground in the end,
it's
though.
down now. Yeah.
Alright, good call
And the
there
big
from
wig.
Offma, because he could still have leaked pretty badly against like a double brute here that Quacker did have enough Mythium for. So nice game reading there from Offma to hunt anyway, and he will be rewarded with a free 11 Mythium.
And then he's only gonna be 8 workers, and he's been getting the gold from the big wig.
Oh,
No.
here we have...
Okay, there's a mole.
Yeah, we've got double brute coming out on 8 from the dams. We've got a mole coming out from Offma. Fine is going to be decently undervalued. Quacker, though, he goes for the Holy Avenger here, which is not a great unit on wave 8.
Oh, look at what Offma's putting down.
Yeah, he's got the bunk. He's only receiving dinos, though, so Quacker is not going for a full send. They're both just going with Income King. And we'll have to keep an eye on Fine and Quacker's lane now, because they're getting some pretty big sends here. 160 for Fine, 160 for Quacker. The Avenger... No, the Sea Dragon dying. He needed that to stay alive. That's a lot of his damage, and obviously a lot of his sustain as well.
But Sea Dragon's not a damage unit.
Yeah, but it would really help to keep his Avenger alive.
It would have
right?
helped, like it would definitely have scaled with the Avenger, but
Yeah.
it looks like it's gonna be a league, but it's gonna be a very small league.
It's not terrible. 50% for
Oh
Quacker,
wait,
67
I thought
for Fine,
there were fewer
though.
units.
Yeah, so while the wave 6 was pretty okay for them, this I think is devastating. They're going to drop pretty low now, and they have less workers than Offma and Adams. Obviously, way less King HP, and yeah, this game is starting to look pretty rough for Lewandowski.
Yeah, I think Offman Adams had a wake-up call from the first game, and
Yeah,
they've definitely put their foot on the gas here.
this seems like a different team. Like, this is very, very one-sided in favour of Offma Dams. Lewandowski and Policic, they made the first game look pretty easy, honestly, but Offma Dams, like you say, they're back with a vengeance, and they are stomping here in game number 2.
This is the vengeance indeed. Look at them, being a total of 400 power score ahead.
Yeah.
Offma on fire.
That's crazy.
Quite interesting, actually, that they have the same power score, but Offma is on fire and Adams is not. When Quack and Fine have also the same score.
Yeah, it'll be like a small difference because power score rounds. So Offma will be like slightly ahead of Adams. Okay, so what can Fine and Quacker do from this point to actually try and come back in this game? It looks like they're in a very rough spot. Jules is saying they only have a 20% chance to win this one.
I mean, Castle is gonna be kicking in.
Yeah, that's
after this wave.
That's something.
But is it gonna be enough? Because if we look at the incomes, oh wow,
I guess the one thing to point out is that there is no aggressive spell, so like a big wave 11 is much less threatening than it could have been otherwise.
But like, look at what Adams has lined up. He's got the Tempest, he's got the Halo, he's got the Disciple, he's got the Magician.
Yeah, that can be an absolute juicer, actually.
That is gonna tear through waves. So I mean, Fine is okay on his own. He's got the Protector. I think we're gonna see two-time Magician out of the West team and two-time Protector out of the East team.
And Offma's holding as well. Like, a shutdown here could have been really nice, but it wasn't to be. We do have the double 4 eyes sent here from Offma Dams. Interesting to see if they do go for the Lizard Army here. Like, even though I think it's a very bad Legion spell, it still gives them a little bit of extra Mythium.
And look at the spells.
Yeah, double Magician. So this is what I mean. Even though they're going for the big aggressive play on 11, they don't take the Lizard Army. I think that's a bit of a damning indictment on that spell and the state of it at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, then again, look at what they're set up to get out the Magician.
Yeah, they both have very good magician builds, for sure.
Very good magician builds.
But if this was an all-out assault, right, they would just be ending the game here on wave 11, right?
Maybe, but I like from how far ahead they are as well. There's no reason to bank
Sure.
on the or
Yeah,
gam
that's a fair point.
play the gambit on the all-out assault.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know you're so far ahead that
And the Sens are still pretty big. Can this doppelganger kill the Four Eyes in Quacker's lane? It can, but barely. 56% leak for him. Meanwhile, Fine is doing pretty well. He won't kill the Four Eyes himself, though, so that's a 55% leak. And this is just yet more chip damage against Lewandowski Policic. They're dropping pretty low now. They're going to go down to about, what, 20%, 30%?
10.
Yeah, dropping. And this is just death by a
Okay.
1,000 cuts here. Offman and Adams just pulling further and further ahead in the game. 18% remaining. And that's actually exactly the same win probability that Jules is giving the side of Fine and Quacker right now. So they're going to
Yeah.
have to throw a bit of a Hail Mary at this stage, I think, if they want to come back into this game. We see both Offman and Adams on 25 gold shutdown. So not an insurmountable lead.
Interesting placement of the Lord of Death. Like, why wouldn't he put it on the other side where you can just throw down some more Leviathans?
That's kind
Oh,
of...
because it's chaos.
It's chaos, yeah. So like he
He's
has
chaos.
to roll into it as well, which is obviously not guaranteed.
No.
Okay, so if we have a look at the builds now, I think we're probably going to see wave 15 Sens all around. Like, Quacker looks pretty weak on wave 15, so does Fine, and Offman and Adams, they just have the value to be able to hold on 13 and 14 themselves.
And Adams just put down the Lord of Death
Yeah.
with the magician. And he has a steed as well.
Oh, Scov, just look at these workers, man. We've got...
Yeah.
The game is just very starved in general. Everyone is quite low workers, but Fine has 13.4 on wave 13. That's horrible. Like, this
That's
has been
very
such
bad.
a rough game for him. It's really,
Yeah.
really struggling.
What do you think about the protector on the double instead of on the sovereign?
I think that's good. I think the Doppel is quite squishy, but it's
Yeah.
also your carry unit, right? Like the Sov is a bit of a bruiser. You want it to deal some damage, you want it to tank some damage. But the Doppel just staying alive as long as possible is obviously a good thing.
Yeah, that's true. But then again, the Sov having more HP, which means that it might get another tick off.
That's
and
true.
It staying alive means that the double stays alive longer as well. So I mean,
Yeah, interesting. Well, they're actually going for a 14 send here. So we've got Ogres coming out against Offmer and Adams. Offmer and Adams,
Adams sensing it
yeah,
and
they
just
go
going
for
for
the
the
income
auto.
sends here. I'm
They
surprised.
just had auto on. It looks
Ye-
like because
yeah.
it was nothing, and then it was 3 drakes from
Yeah.
each side, and then a fiend also from Offma.
I'm actually kind of surprised that Offmer Adams feel pressured enough to send here, to be honest. I think they could quite easily have saved and just ended the game on 15, but I suppose they're also so far ahead that why risk it, you know? Just go
Yeah.
for the income king, because you're so far ahead, you're pretty much guaranteed to win.
Get the money. And look, we even have a bit of a boost out of the Orchid.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
And-
So there's 380 against Offmer, 320 against Adams. Will we see any shutdowns here on 14? I think if there's not, then Fine and Quacker might as well just go game 3, honestly, because this is kind of their all-in play already. And it does look like an easy hold there for Offmer,
no
not
shutdowns.
even close. And Adams is holding. There's 2 creeps left there.
But there's also like the LOD is gonna summon another Drake here, and then
Yeah.
the new summon Drake is gonna be tanking everything.
Yeah, he's gonna hold.
And there's so much mana on the Lord of Death.
Yeah.
Magician plus the Starcaller.
Yeah, it's close, but he does hold, and
Yeah.
that's just
I
an
honest-
absolute
like-
doomer, I think, for Fine and Quacker.
Pretty sure it would have summoned another Drake before going down as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, sure, the Big Wig lost half its mana, but
Yeah, but Fine and Quacker must have lost half of their marbles here as well. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
this game is so rough. Offman's on 50 gold
Quacker is
shutdown now.
definitely all in here. I mean, they did send, so Quacker is just full on
Full Sui.
suicide.
Yeah. Fine is shifting 460 gold though. That's interesting.
There is some merit to be had. Do they go for what do you go? They have to go for 16. But off-meta dams are not looking weak on 16.
No. And they're on 100% HP as well, right? So it becomes
Yeah.
very, very difficult now for Fine and Quacker to close out a game here. This Bigwig is dying again, so that's something, I guess.
Yeah, I mean something, but it's also nothing.
Yeah. Oh. Pretty close to the players leaking no send on this side, honestly, Fine and Quacker. But
Yeah.
they are okay. They don't
keep
send
everybody
here.
saves.
Okay, that's an interesting one.
Holding on to what they've got.
Playing pretty risky there. Quacker kind of... I mean, he's basically full Sui at this point. He did build a little bit here, but like a really little bit.
Yeah. But he's looking very great in this wave, and he's looking so dead on 17, so it has to be 17 because
Yeah.
everybody, like both Fine and Quacker, are so dead on 17, right?
I mean, Offman's
Okay.
looking pretty strong on 17. He has the Haven, he has Buckler tanks as well. Oh, and we see, yeah, Fine is building against 16 with that Pyro.
Full spell just to make sure there's no one-shot here.
Yeah, reasonable play, honestly, reasonable
Yeah.
play.
Everybody's equal on Mythium, except, of course, for Quacker,
Mhm.
who is full Sui.
Quacker might actually do okay here, despite being like full
Yeah,
Sui. because
Quacker's,
he's got...
Quacker's build is super good here.
Yeah. He's gonna
He's still gonna leak, still.
Pro League?
Pretty good pro league. The Drake's doing what they can to keep the
Okay, 33% leak there while being 2.9k value seems okay. But Offmeradams, obviously no fools, they are full sending here as well. So
Yeah.
I think we do see the game end on 17. I just think there's a very high chance that that is in the favour of Offmeradams.
Yeah, I mean, Fine and Quacker know that they're in a rough position, so they're just going for whatever they can. I would actually like to just see from here, Adams should just upgrade the rest of the King attack here.
Yeah.
There's no reason for him to send any more.
Yeah. Like they know that Quacker is just leaking everything.
Yeah,
here,
and
right?
then we see the last two King attacks out of Adams.
Yeah. Fine,
We could probably
he's
add a
500
Robo or a
as
Brute,
well.
but
Yeah, meanwhile, look at
I mean,
this. Like, sure,
double
Offman's
Haven,
receiving the suicide send, but his build is just really strong here as well.
I mean, we do see quite hefty undervalue on both sides, but
Yeah.
it's 600 more for Quacker and Fine compared to Adams and Offma.
The problem is that Fine needs to hold here, right? Because Quacker's obviously leaking everything, and they only have 40%.
Yeah, but no
HP
one's holding
remaining.
here. No one's holding here.
Now we do get this leak out of Offma pretty solidly here, but Quacker, of course, leaking 94%, Offma 64%.
Oh,
Adams is doing
we have-
really well. He nice lucked the Hellgate to go on his white main for a wave 17 send, so
yeah, so he's
obviously
just
very
stalling
skilled.
forever.
Fine did
Actually,
hold.
we see Fine holding.
Yeah,
So
but
game
Offmadams,
is not
they're
over.
not dead, I think. They're going to take some
Game is-
damage.
Yeah, game is not over.
Oh, Fine is
and now
actually
it's-
able to cover quite a lot of this. This is pretty clutch. Okay, Fine, okay. Is this the miracle that Quacker and Fine needed to stay in this
And
game?
Fine is on the Harpies as well, and
Yeah.
they are popping off
He's
now.
actually full covering. That's crazy.
Like two Sky
Alright.
Queens out damaging a Sovereign.
This game just got pretty interesting, Scov, because I'm pretty sure this game was like 100% lost for Fine and Quacker
Yeah.
up until last wave. But Fine's like Hail
How-
Mary there, him holding on 17.
Okay. I see what Fine did. Fine put down a lot of treants.
Yeah. So
And
really
that's
good tanks.
really great on the wave you put him down.
Yeah.
But what are they going to do on 19?
Right, yeah.
Oh, what are they going to do on 20?
Interestingly as well is Quacker is actually starting to recover now through income alone. So because he did go
Yeah.
for that suicide push, he hasn't pushed any more since. And he does have
And
the
it was
highest
only
income
he leaked 33% on 16 from his suicide.
Yeah.
And of course he leaked 17, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But now Offma with the suicide retaliation.
Well, that's interesting because Offma
he's
is
having
very
none of
strong
this.
on 19. Is he leaking
Yeah.
again here? I think he is. So that's another shutdown. It's only 25 gold. So
Yeah,
I think
and
that
how much is he
should
leaking?
force Fine and Quacker to send.
He's leaking 33%, but 33% is not that much.
Oh, Quacker's leaking
Especially not compared
50%
to
as well.
Quacker, yeah.
Okay, okay. So everybody
I
has to
mean,
send here. There's no way we see a save, right?
there's no. Okay, there's a sense. And there's some king damage.
Yeah.
On the east
Freaking
team.
the king. Okay, so
Yeah.
they do send Fine and Quacker. That would have been suicide if they decided to save here. We have the Kraken coming out, the Ram into Offmer, Ram GK from Offmer, and Double Witch from Adams. Does Fine have any chance of pulling out another miracle here? I'm not sure because Offmer is fully suiciding. He's on 70 plus workers now. They do have the potential to stall for some time.
I
though, with these
mean,
pre-amps back.
he's planting a forest.
Yeah, yeah. And same for Quacker as well, by the way. Like, I don't expect them to hold, but they might stall for quite some time, right?
Yeah, but what we see are like... Okay, this is hilarious, actually.
Oh, the
There's a
zero stack
zero-
kingpin from Adams.
Here's
Yeah,
the
I mean,
king
still...
ping, but it is on a white main.
Yeah.
We also see the Tea of Knowledge. We see the Green Devil with both a white man and a Starcaller
It's
buff.
absolutely huge. 760 Mythium for
I
Offmer.
think this Green Devil is going to be the difference because of all the mana regions
Oh,
it's
for
going to
sure,
have from
for
the
sure,
Starcaller.
for sure. 700 for Dams, 1080 for Fine, 520 for Quacker, but Quacker's leaking full, and
Offmer is
Fine is leaking
leaking already.
massive as well. Problem is, Adams, he is holding the
Adams
longest.
Adams is stalling enough,
yeah.
and there we see it. It's game 3, which is what we want to see.
Oh, let's go. So off Madams, they do snatch this one. I have to say though, well played, Fine and Quacker, because they
made this interesting.
Yeah, like they were so far behind, but they actually put up a fight and basically took it down to a race here on wave 19. So well played, those guys.
Yeah.
Look at this graph, right? They were so far ahead for basically the entire game, and then.
Okay, can we talk about Adams' build on 19?
Let's have a look.
How he rolled more Tempest or Leviathan, or more Tempest. He didn't upgrade.
Yeah.
He didn't upgrade them towards the Halo, and didn't upgrade the Halo.
Yeah, he's just getting maximum
because
value, I guess.
who would want a double buffed Halo with Starcaller Magician?
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Absolutely.
Everybody knows that.
Absolutely.
No reason to go for that.
Yeah.
But they still managed to pull it off. So like.
So fair play to them, yeah. Fair play.
Who are we to judge?
Yeah. Do you know what would have been really interesting is if Fine just went for the suicide play into Adams there on 19, but that's just the sort of call that is impossible to make.
And double how is double suicide gonna work?
No, Quacker's not Sui, right? Quacker,
that's
he's
true.
Sui'd for the 17
Oh yeah.
send.
Oh, the switcheroo. That would have been
the switcheroo, exactly. So Quacker didn't push a single worker after 17. He stayed on 33 workers. And he actually stalled for quite a long time on 19. Like, he still leaked massive. But can you imagine if Fine just full pushed after the 17 send?
Yeah, just calling it out that, okay, Offmer sees that Quacker is suicide. So now Quacker builds it. So Fine can suicide into Adams. That is 400 IQ if that happens.
But again, but that is the sort of call that is, like, impossible to make in the heat of the moment, right?
Not anymore. Now it's been put out in broad daylight.
Yeah. Would have been. Would have been interesting for sure. I think they may have won in that case, but it was just,
it's too much. Adams, but Adams was stalling, but Adams was not stalling that much actually. So.
Yeah.
But then again, they had more king HP.
They did. So it had to be a race, but Adams had to leak like a lot faster than Quacker for them to win. But yeah, sure, it would have been spicy.
And with the because. Offmer was not bad on 18, and when he leaks, it's a suicide from him.
My camera is getting blinded by the sunlight, so it's quite dark on the screen, but there we go. So what do you think? Now that you've seen the first 2 games, who do you favour as we move into game 3?
It's gonna be hard to call. Fine and Quacker made it a bit more interesting with the when they were behind than I think Offman and Adams did when they were behind.
Yeah.
But Offman and Adams were able to bounce back so hard in the second game. Fine was Castle, which I don't favor that much.
No, no, and he got abused, right? Like he had
Yeah,
such a rough early game as a result.
uh,
Because
and the
Offmer was
cast might
cartel,
also have
right?
been why it actually turned interesting though, but it
Yeah,
only turned interesting in the sense that they were far behind, and then they managed to
yeah,
be not as far behind.
yeah, for sure. All right, guys, we're gonna have to see which one of these teams is able to come out on top in game number 3. This one's for all the marbles
Oh,
now. Offmer Dams versus Lewandowski Ipolichik. Let's go.
Quacker with the Megamind YOLO with a pretty solid roll, I think.
That's a juicy YOLO roll, yeah. Like a nice gun start there. Maybe you go for a fairly early reroll because something like a Gargoyle would just be amazing for him, I think. Fine, still yet to choose. Dams, he
Oh,
loves the
double
RNG
YOLO.
masterminds. Or double YOLO, okay.
What do
But
we
it
have
also
from
not a
Fine?
bad YOLO roll for Fine. Very, very
No.
playable there.
What's he gonna go for? Is he gonna go for the casket?
I think this is a Berserker into Sea Dragon start, but I could be wrong.
Probably.
Hey, no, he's going for the casket, it looks like.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, on the other side, Adams, he didn't have enough RNG in the first game, so now he's going for redraw, just to double down on that. And Offmer playing it steady with the cash out. Again, with Megamind right for Offmer, so okay, very cool. We see a lot of Megamind pickups this series.
Interesting. Oh, Adamus, Tempest, and the Lord of Death.
Mm-hmm.
That is a solid roll. He just needs to pull the rest of it all off, which has a lot of magic damage from the Pilgrim and the Lord of Death, but there's also a pierce damage from the Tempest and the Aqua.
Yeah, yeah, really not a bad roll from him
And
at all.
then there's the Arcane Defense out of the Badger. Looking a bit weak on 10 maybe, but Offma is on Berserker and Millennium, so he might be fine to cover.
Yeah, I think he's chilling. And Fine
We
actually
see-
going for quite an interesting line here with the Casket Pack Rat. So
Yeah.
hunting for his Mythium is pretty juicy.
We see two aggressive spells in the Giant Snail and the Robo Army,
Mhm.
but also the most defensive spell in the game, Alone.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice counter there, but you never really want to take loan unless you're forced into it, because obviously the income penalty is just pretty rough. Now we do see Adams holding, obviously, against the Snail King up. And let's have a look, because we've got Offmer on 6 workers, Fine and Quacker both on 6 workers. Adams actually has the lowest workers in the game, and he's the guy who just received a 40 cent on 2.
But here's like 3, the Tempest are decent, but like they're neither good nor bad, I would say. A lot of damage, but damage also split between all the wave.
Yeah.
And of course, Tempest are not great on 4 either. Sure, they pierce, but half the damage or somewhat close to that is in the Gunner, and the Gunner has nothing to hit on the wave 4.
Yeah, that's true.
So I can see, and Tempest, like, they're not bad, they're not great on 5 either. Then 6 comes around, 6 is not great either. So they do have a weak spot in that sort of early middle game.
Yeah, but the Fire Elemental covers it very nicely, I think. Like, the Fire Elemental is incredible on 4, and on 5 it's just unleakable unless there's a Hermit, and we know that Fine won't have a Hermit because he's sending a Fiend here. So, okay.
Adams is looking looking to have a really good game here. The Fiend just gets demolished by the...
Yeah, I mean, Fine is
Super
not sending
focus.
for a leak here with that Fiend. He just
No,
wants
no,
the 18
definitely not.
income.
He knows that it's just gonna get
Yeah.
absolutely brutalized. And we
Okay.
see Offman doing just fine as well. He's So they're both on 7 workers now.
Yeah, they're going for some early cringe actually. Offmer on 90 Mythium, Adams on 80. Fine and Quacker actually looking pretty vulnerable on wave 6, so we might see
Oh,
like
yeah.
some double brutes coming out on 6. I know this is the kind of Legion that you love to watch, Scotrold, where there's a lot of early game starving and aggression and such.
I mean, I think having to actually play the game from wave 1 is pretty great, but that's just me.
Okay, so we do have the worker lead obviously on the side of Offmer Dams. They're on 7 apiece versus 6 for Fine and Quacker. We'll have to see, do they go for this wave 6 then? Because Offmer already has double brute if that's what he wants to go for. And Adam's not far behind, although he wouldn't reach the double brute. Actually, a mole coming out here from Offmer. That might very well shut down Fine's damage.
Robo's out of Adams.
Oh, and Fine, he can't afford that Berserker. He's 21 gold away from it. That's pretty rough, actually.
Oh. Is she just... That means you just have to build 2 pack rats and some...
He can't even build 2 pack rats. There's... Oh, no, he can. Sorry, he can.
Yeah,
he can.
if he's... So there's the one.
Yeah.
That means there's another. Then there are a couple of looters on the other side. He needs to put them down.
Right, let's keep eyes on this then. So 140 for Fine. The mole is only really good against the fire elemental though. I mean, sure, it also reduces damage from the spell, but you don't really care about this spell on 6 anyway. He's killing a lot of the robos, right? The pack rat's doing pretty decent single target impact damage. So Fine,
but
he's leaking
just the pressure of it. He's just leaking the mole. He's fine with that.
Yeah, he's totally fine with that. And Quacker leaking 18%, just 2 robos there. Meanwhile, Offmer Dams, they're leaking as well here. They're definitely not coming out ahead.
We need to talk about it's not felt on the game right now, but Fine he has 3 pack rats now. Which is not a situation you want to be in, I feel like.
He can just abuse it now. Like, he can double hunt them, go for the casket. Yeah, he's 530 value, but he's unleakable here with the casket and the fire elemental, right? So he can just hunt 3 pack rats. That's pretty good value in my book. But look at this. I mean, Offmer Dams, they actually took more king damage on 6 against the 80 Mythium Sens from Fine and Quacker.
More, but irrelevantly more, I'd say.
Yeah. It's the king damage itself is not the big issue. The big issue is the fact that Offmer Dams sent like double the amount of Mythium and just didn't really get enough done, right?
But what will we see like happen on maybe 9 to 11? I mean, there is Lone, but 11 could be devastating for a Fine and Quacker, I think.
Yeah, I could certainly see a big wave 9 send coming out from everybody as well. Oh, but no, Adams is going here. Offmer too, so we've got moles coming out on wave 8. Fine and Quacker, they could actually be pretty vulnerable here.
What is Quacker doing? That's what we want to see.
240
he hasn't hunted anything
gun.
yet.
Yeah, okay. This is a good read now from Fine and Quacker because second gun makes you so vulnerable on wave 9, but it's really strong on wave 8.
There's the Circa being...
Oh no! No! Quackero is just praising your decision making! Oh dear. Hey, the gate on 8, honestly not that terrible, especially because the magic creep is going to one-shot the mole, right?
Yeah, but...
So mole is
Then
down.
the mole is gone, and now...
He's got pretty good focus, honestly. He gets one more, he does. But this is the real story. Fine is just full holding. He's fast and aggressive, plus 25 value. He's even going to be able to cover some in the mid, right?
Yeah, he's... no.
Okay, but he does some damage. He softens it up for the king.
He's softened it up, and he holds his own, which is...
Yeah. Oh, look at this counter-attack, though, Scotrold. It's massive. We've got Mole
200
from both players. And they probably get to like a brute or something post-income as well, if that's what they want to go for. Yeah, Tree of Knowledge, really strong on wave 9, of course.
With the Sea Dragon. We see another Treant over here, so... And what do we see here? We see a Lost Chieftain buffing Seedling.
Oh, he's going to buff Alpha Male, right? Oh, he can't... He needs to sell the Aqua. He has to sell the Aqua.
Is he going to do that?
I think, yeah, he does. He does.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
so Adams with the great shot calling here.
Yeah, good presence of mind there from Adams. Like, obviously, it costs you to sell an aqua like that, but it,
Yeah, but the value gained is
yeah,
greater
it's
than.
completely worth it. If it had been a wave
What?
10 send though, that could have
Oh,
been.
and the fire. Look at the hero elemental.
Yeah, that's juicy. The fire
And
elemental just staying
now
alive.
it's all the way in the back, so it's gonna be tanking last
Yeah,
after this.
it's going to get so much more damage in.
Oh, it's gonna be sniped by the.
No, it's perfectly tanking the Hermit, is what you want to say. Fine,
Oh yeah.
leaking shutdown against 3 snails, though. That's less than ideal. But Offma, he leaks 63%. Adams does very, very well there, leaking just 39%. Obviously, Quacker's going to be able to cover his teammates' leak, so no king damage on the right-hand side. But Offma Dams, they are dropping now. They're going down to around 60% HP, I think. But I think actually Fine and Quacker, they wanted to get a little bit more done than this here with this big wave 9 send.
Maybe. And they're resending here.
Okay.
Is it gonna be? I mean, the buffed alpha male is of course great, and
Yeah,
the two
really good
tempests are
tank for
great.
wave 10. Really good tank.
And then we see the APS, which is not bad either, but
Mhm.
it's not ideal. And that's all that wrote for Adams. He just adds the APS and 2 polywalks.
Yeah, I think they're going to be completely fine, honestly.
I mean, I see leaks coming out of at least Offma, I think.
Yeah, let's have a look. These things are pretty good damage, of course, but yeah, the rest of his units are quite bad on wave 10.
Yeah. So sure, they are doing great, but
Yeah. Oh.
they're doing great in the sense that
Oh, they're both leaking? Yeah, you're right, Scofftrolled. I didn't see Adams leaking, honestly. I thought he was pretty strong here. But yeah, Offma 56, Adams 27, and their king is just going to keep on dropping, and obviously keep on feeding gold to the side of Fine and Quacker as well. This
they
one
are sitting
looking
strong
really
here,
good.
and they could. I wouldn't. Oh, Fine going again. I wouldn't mind them doing giant snails here and then going for 12.
Oh, that would be a juicer, yeah.
A giant snail 12 is probably a pretty good one.
Robo Army's a good option as well, right? Like, I think
Yeah.
they have 2 pretty solid options to be able to just end the game here. I would have liked them actually to not send income, because, like you say, the full giant snail send was looking pretty deadly here. Or the Robo Army plus anything, but let's see. Fine actually going for the defensive option. He picks up that
Off
loan.
on the loan as well.
Yeah.
What are we gonna see? Are they? Okay, there's a giant snail out of Adams and the Robo Army.
Robo Army from Quacker. Okay.
So actually, Offma countering the Robo Armor with the loan.
Yeah, pretty good lineup of their spells here, right? We've
Yeah.
got Robo Army into the lone player, and we've got Snails into the Robo Army player on the side of Offmadams.
So on the win percentage, I think there's something that Jules is not seeing.
Yeah. He doesn't quite see the ebb and flow of the game, right? He just sees the economic situation.
Yeah. Quacker, yeah, never mind. He sends 2 Robos with his Robo Army.
So is this forcing a wave 13 send now? I think it is, right? Because Quacker with the Robo
Offma
squad...
has no income. Offma has an 83 income.
Yeah,
but
that's pretty terrible, actually. He's
I mean,
playing...
he is getting 20 gold from the Robo
the Robo
Army.
squad, yeah, that's true, but I mean, his value is just looking so sus, and his build just looked garbage on 13 as well, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, a disciple upgrade into a Starcaller on 13 does a lot for your build.
And
Right
Adams is not horrendous on 13, but just look at his value. It's pretty rough.
And the income, like when they're saving now,
Yeah.
they are just like they're dropping 200 gold each wave.
Oh, Offma's actually leaking to the passive Robo squad. Or
Oh,
no,
no.
not quite, but close. Honestly close.
Close enough. But then again, holding is holding.
All right,
But
here
finding
comes...
Quacker ahead.
This is interesting now. So Offma's just going for income into Fine, so pretty sure he can't leak him, and I think that's a fair call. While Adams, he does go full with the imps and giant snails.
There are 2 fatalizers.
Yeah.
How
he's
we're
chilling.
gonna break 13, but there's Arcta, there's Yusora, there are two Soul Gates.
Yeah. And we do get full sends from both Quacker and Fine. Like, the Mythium amount is small, obviously, but Offmer, his
Yeah.
build looks pretty bad here, I have to say. So
Quacker looking good, looking the worst on value, but his build is pretty good.
yeah. And Fine, obviously, is just holding and covering. So Lewandowski, Policic, they're not under any threat whatsoever, I think I have to say. Offmer, he does look like he's going to leak decently here.
Quacker is looking like a leaker as well.
Yeah, sure. But Fine is fine. Dams
yeah.
does hold, so that's pretty clutch, because obviously the game could have just ended here. And still
shut down.
Shut down the Quacker, 25 gold, but Fine looks like he's able to cover. Meanwhile, though, there's a decent amount of wave reaching the king here. There's 4 Robos, 3 Golems as well. Can they survive here?
Enough to kill it.
Oh, they're barely staying alive, Scottstraw. They're down at 15% here.
But how will they look in the late game if, like...
Yeah, like, Offmer is just so far behind.
Adams, what are you doing?
Oh, I see the line, Scott. I see the line. So Offmer is suicide pushing.
Yeah.
With the plan that maybe Adams can hold on 15 because he has Hades, Chieftain, buffing a Badger.
Yeah.
And then what? They're just going to try and one-shot Lewandowski and Policic? Or what?
Maybe. What I'm curious as to what's going on is the Hades position.
Yeah.
Not being on the double Tempest. I mean, of course, they are not Leviathans yet.
Yeah.
And his aura effect has been nerfed.
I think we're going to see Elite to no send here, though, on Offmer's lane, right? And maybe even... Wait, is Adams leaking as well? Are they just dead to no send here?
Is that just dead to nothing? Natural causes.
Wrong one? Ooh.
I mean, Fine is leaking as well, but there's everyone's calling GG.
I was looking for this one. There we go. Okay.
I didn't write that at all.
Oh, right. That's a very interesting end to a series here.
Death of natural causes.
Yeah, I mean, look. This, Fine and Quacker were winning this game anyway, but for Offmer and Adams to lose the series against no send here on 14, that's an interesting one, man. That's not the way I thought this series would end. But
definitely not.
Fair play. Like, Fine and Quacker, they played this one really well. I do think it's fair to say they were the underdogs coming into this series, but they played very, very well, especially in Game 1 and Game 3. I mean, they were just dominating, man. Like, this game here, Offmer and Adams, they just never really had a chance, it felt like. They were struggling from early on, and Fine and Quacker just never really gave them a moment to breathe. They were dead on Wave 15. There's no two ways around that. Yeah, it's just a funny way to end the series, I guess. Death to no send there, Wave 14 for Offmer Dams. But, their tournament journey is not over yet. This is the new format. They still have another chance in the losers bracket. Let me see if that other game has...
This was double YOLO out of Lewandowski. So.
Yeah, right? And they just...
Actually
stomped it. Now, I think, so Kingdans and Widdowson, their opponents actually, didn't show or something? So that's just a def win for those guys, which means, we just have to come and watch the winners series, right? So I think, Scott, we're going to have to give the players a bit of a 10-minute break on that one, especially because they've just had a pretty intense 3-game series on the side of Quacker and Fine. But don't go anywhere, guys, because in about 10 minutes time we will get to watch Fine and Quacker facing off against Widdowson and Kingdan. So that should be a pretty exciting series overall. And we'll be back in about 10 minutes, guys. Goodbye.
You're on my turf.
Hey guys, welcome back, After what it's fair to say was a pretty unexpected end to the previous series, with the death to no send there of Off Madams, we are going to have another exciting game, best of three series. This time, Abrasiet will be playing off against Lebowski and Policic, or however you pronounce those names. And this should be a pretty interesting one. Scottrold, how do you think this one's going to go down? Because Kingdance and Widdowson, obviously two of the most well-known names in the Nova Cup community. But Fine and Quacker, they played really well in the previous series. And I think it's fair to say King and Widdowson are a bit rusty right now. They haven't been playing much lately.
It is pretty rusty maybe, but and the Quacker Fine definitely did a fine showing.
Mm-hmm.
Really quacking.
Really quacking.
But Abrasiet is Abrasiet.
Yeah.
What can you say?
Yeah.
Kingdance, Widdowson, two of the strongest Legion players of all time.
Oh, for sure.
Like, King can come in and be half in a coma after a 3-month vacation and still kick the ass of 99% of the player base. So
yeah, definitely.
And Widdowson is not too shabby either.
Yeah, like all Widdowson needs to do is not be a complete deadweight, and then Kingdance, of course, can just carry him to victory. Right? That's the general game plan with these guys.
Yeah.
Jokes aside, I think this is a phenomenal team, and like you say, they do seem to be able to just come from whatever game it is that they're playing at the moment back into Legion and just dominate. But having said that, if they get too complacent, we've also seen them lose games, and we've even seen them go out on day one a couple of times. So
it does happen for them.
Yeah.
So of course, never say never, but they did just win in an impressive fashion in the first series.
Yeah, yeah. We should talk about that actually. So unfortunately, it seems that one player in the Messi Mbappe team was unable to play today and just dropped out at the very last second, which means Kingdance and Widdowson, they did have a bye. They didn't play their first series, automatically through to this series. And it also means for the side of Off Madams, they won't have to play that losers bracket match. They are just guaranteed through to the last chance match, right? So they will be playing off against whoever loses this match that we're about to watch. So it might just be another Quacker Fine rematch, or if Quacker and Fine are victorious here, that means that Off Madams will have to play against Kingdance and Widdowson to make it through to the semi-finals. So everything really relies on this game here. And speaking of which, do we have a lobby available? I think we might.
Yeah, we do. It's just you.
Okay, so the players are here, the casters are here.
It's also going to be interesting because Widdowson and Kingdance didn't have any tournament game to warm up with.
Yeah, they haven't had their warm-up game, right? So they might be a little bit rusty as well. Meanwhile, Quacker and Fine, they're on a bit of a high at the moment because they've just dominated against Off Madams, right? So they've got to be feeling pretty good about themselves right about now.
But also, Widdowson and Kingdance, they're already in Legend.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you might say they're rusty, but how rusty can they really be?
Yeah, true. Fair. It's a relative term when you're talking about Widdowson and Kingdance, right? Okay, let's see if we can get this game underway. King, Widder, hello. So it looks like Fine and Quacker are here. The casters are here. Scottrold is spamming his face in the lobby, which is pretty juicy. Kingdance and Widdowson, we're just waiting for these guys now.
I actually, because when I posted this and some people were seeing it, they were like, "Where's your hair, dude?"
You do look very different in the
I've actually
yeah.
I've snapped a photo of me with my face fully covered with my hair.
Yeah.
That I might send you. That,
Okay. We need to get one with that phenomenal beard that you're rocking today as well, by the way.
Yeah. Maybe I'll snap a picture of my my casting setup.
Amazing, amazing. All right, guys, here we go. Game number 1. We have Abrasir, that's King Dance and Widdowson on the left, versus Lebowski and Politchik on the right. Let's go.
And we see the Legion spells. Another round of Protect the Magician, this time with Battle Scars instead of Avoid spell.
Yeah.
So,
And a lot of Megamind we're seeing in the Nova
Yeah.
Cup so far. Like I think we've had a Megamind in every game so far. This one we actually have 2.
did we see one in the very first one?
Yeah, we did. We had Offmer Megaminded
Oh,
cash
yeah.
out, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, and yeah, definitely a lot of Megaminds here.
Now Quacker is
Megamind
Megaminded
Castle
into
from
the
Quacker.
castle. He's got a really nice roll actually.
It's gonna be interesting to see what he wants to do with it.
There's actually identical Mastermind pickups here, Scoff because we've got the double Megamind. Obviously, they have different options, but they still picked Megamind. And then we
Yeah.
have the 2 YOLO pickers as well, with Widdowson and Fine. So really interesting, actually, how both sides have
Yeah.
gone for this way around.
Oh, well, with the YOLO, you do have enough for double 95.
Mhm.
No, you don't. With 5 workers. Anyway, here's the series number 2.
All right, King Ops all around, so nobody trying to catch a Fiesta player unawares. And yeah, I actually like this from Quacker. So you don't normally see the Windhawk player playing safe, but I think if you're Castle, like, you basically just lose
Yeah.
the game if you get snailed here on wave 1. So
Yeah.
adding the Tempest already on wave 1, I think, is very sensible if you're a Castle Windhawk player.
Yeah, it's just
Just
really
don't
safe.
risk it, right? Just don't risk
No.
it.
And it is something that has worked very well in the past as well.
Mhm.
And I actually think that Windhawks, or maybe not Windhawks, but Violets at the moment are really strong.
Oh, they are for
Uh,
sure, for
Violet.
sure.
I've seen some impressive holes. There might have been Violet with Starcaller, but them just spamming their abilities
Mhm.
just can shred everything. And Fine with one of my favorite builds from the past, the Vile's Room Pilgrim. I've always loved those 2 units together.
They're really strong together, but as an opener, it feels quite slow, right? Because
Yeah.
he was forced to stay on 4 workers, play it really slow and steady, I guess. I mean, he's going to be rewarded here. He was able to push, no sense, so he's got 5 workers now.
Yeah, but it wasn't. Usually you hope for a snail on
Yeah.
on 2, so he can go 6 workers. But then he's gonna have the chained fist, and now he's gonna be able to get like Pilgrim, Wild's Room, and the Oathbreaker, which is a really strong setup with the healing, because then the Oathbreaker can pop off in a split. The Wild's Room is just gonna get really nice and healthy from all the healing, and the Pilgrim is gonna be split tanking as well.
Oh, we have a massive worker lead in favour of King and Widdowson, though. Look at this.
Yeah,
7 workers apiece versus 5 and 6. Fine has pushed up to 6, but he is looking pretty vulnerable on 4 to a resend, and the resend is coming here from King Dance.
When you look at the unit, how much damage the units did on King Dance, the Neko did just under 1200, but the Seedling did just under 800.
Pretty juicy, yeah.
That is a pretty juicy tier 1 unit.
Yeah, not bad for 15 gold, right?
If you can keep a Seedling alive on wave 3, it's going ham on the wave.
Right.
Interesting, we're gonna see. Oh, it's a skeleton. I somehow thought it was
Oh, is his Pilgrim tanking too much? Is this thing gonna die? That could be very
yeah,
bad
it's
for him if
going
it
down
does.
here. It's going down here.
Oh, the Pilgrim is down, and now the Shroom is tanking everything. This is going to be a decent leak here, wave 4 for Fine. He's on value as well, by the way. 350 value, cannot afford to be leaking like 50% here against a single DT. This is Really not ideal for Fine. And all this while, King Dens and Widdowson have had the worker lead. Sure, Quacker and Fine catch up now. Alright, we actually have a full resend coming out from Widdowson with the Robo. But Quacker's going to be fine against this, I think. Like,
Yeah.
he's got decent damage. Problem is, this
There's
needs to tank the boss. Let's see if it does.
Someone's complaining a bit about the sound level from Discord.
Yeah, I increased the volume a little bit for both of us. For
Alright.
5-minute delay.
Yeah, of course.
Alright,
is taking
80
nice
reset
here.
against Quacker. How is he going to do against this? There is a Robo in there. He's got very nice split tanking. It looks like it's actually not going to be enough. He's going to leak decently here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no, look
that's
at
not
that.
just decently.
68%. Now, of course, Fine is able to hold. He's probably
Yeah.
going to full cover as well, right? So I don't think he's
Maelstrom
going to take
went
any
down,
king
though.
damage.
Is he gonna full? Yeah, because it's so low. So is
Yeah,
the
the Pilgrim just one-shots everything in the mid, I think.
yeah, the skeleton is still alive,
Yeah.
and it's on decent health.
Yeah, he's chilling, he's chilling. He's got this. And
Which
let's
is
see,
one
they
attack.
do go for the Brutes on 6. We've seen it work in game number 1 really well for them, and I think we might see it again here. Widdowson, he's going to have 200 gold, so he can make the Alpha Male, which could be decent here, of course. But then
Yes.
what if his gun just runs it down?
He's gonna have to build the alpha and add a skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
But
King
and
Dens
but
goes for the
also,
Harbinger here, but the rest of his units are absolutely garbage on 6.
I mean, the Warg is decent tank,
Hmm.
and he just needs it to tank. It is a tank.
Yeah.
I
There
would
is
love
the
to
Alpha Male
see-
coming out from Widdowson. We'll have to see. Let's keep eyes on this gun, because if this
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
down fast, it's going to be a massive leak. Oh, the gun actually tanks
Oh.
nothing, so it won't go down fast, but actually,
But
you really
we
wanted to
see
tank
the-
1 or 2.
Yeah, but the alpha. That's the thing about a big tank on 6, right? Is
Yeah,
it's
the
tanking
Wave 6
everything.
passive, yeah.
yeah.
So that's going to be a decent leak. Can he kill 1 more? He can.
Yeah.
So,
So
actually
that's
not
what,
too terrible.
56,
55 for
55.
Widdowson, 60 for
60?
King. Okay, yeah, that's pretty unfortunate leaking that Brute there on 0% HP. But they're going to take some decent King damage here, Scott. Wave 6. And Lewandowski Policic taking first blood.
And what a first blood.
Yeah, they're dropping pretty low. They're, what is it, 68? Juicy.
68%. Very
Nearly,
juicy
but
indeed.
not quite. 69. Unlucky.
But then again, they're looking behind now because the worker advantage.
Mhm.
Really interesting game. What are we gonna see? Are they gonna be able to capitalize on the king damage that they got, or is Quack Wither and King Dance just gonna pull too far ahead here? Quacker hasn't really made good of his Tempest Violet opener, Tempest Hawk.
No, that's true. I mean, they certainly have the King HP lead, but economically, Widdowson and King Dans, they are ahead right now.
Yeah,
they also
and I
have,
think
you know, way more
that is-
workers and a lot
that is
more
their
pressure.
game. That is their game to just get so like extremely rich that you cannot touch them in the late game. Look at them having 6 more workers every
Yeah.
10 seconds. It's 6 more Mythium. That's gonna scale so out of reach.
Look at these power scores as well. Like, Quacker is just so far behind Widdowson, both the
Yeah.
YOLO players, so they've got the same income and everything, but Widdowson is just pulling further and further ahead every
Yeah.
wave, it seems. Quacker has 9 workers here on wave 8, Scarf, versus 13 for both King and Widder.
Yeah, the castle.
Yeah. Good call though. So Quacker did actually build for wave 9 here. He made the Violet
Yeah.
on 8 rather than going for, say, a Leviathan or something like that. And
But I think, yeah, I mean, it's the right call. It's also a pretty decently easy call to make, I think,
Yeah.
because the Violet, with what he has on his build, the Violet's still pretty great here.
Okay, here comes these Wave 9 Sens. We've got Ogre Snail from the King, we've got Mole Hermit from Widdowson. The double Violet, though, in Quacker's Lane, I think can
Ooh, against
perform
Mole
very
Hermit,
well.
that looks. He looks decent.
Yeah,
Like
he
the
does.
Violet's really great here, I think.
He does. He can even sell one mask, add a warg, so that he has some...
Oh, he.
No, Quacker! No, you did this last game as well. We were praising your build choices, and then you just undid it and made something worse.
Well,
Oh, and we have in Fine's Lane as well, we have a self-buffing chieftain tanking nothing. So two very questionable
but
build
the
decisions
Scallywag was
here.
tanking the Ogre, so that's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing
The-
okay,
the
but with that
Ogre is
value,
still
he kind of
going
wants to be
through.
holding here.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Quacker, who I have to think would have just held if he had the double Violet here, he's leaking decently as well. So 67 for Quacker, 50 for Fine, and that King HP lead, I think we're about to see it go in the other direction.
I think it's gonna be about even, but even King HP does not mean an even game because look at the workers.
Yeah, they're so far ahead on the side of
They're
that.
extremely far ahead. Look, there is Fine and Quack are still a bit ahead in King HP, but what does it matter?
Yeah, I mean, Quacker's castle is about to kick in, but you know, who cares about a bit of extra income when
Yeah.
you're already miles behind everybody else in income on wave 10 and much further behind in terms of workers. A couple of errors there on the side of Lewandowski Policic, because I have to think with that Violet and with a Warg in the split, he's just full holding.
Probably, or at least the league is gonna be so small that
Yeah. And if that chieftain was buffing something other than itself in Fine's Lane, like, he's just going to full hold, I think.
how's he gonna do here? Oh, he is.
Is
He
it a
is
leak?
holding.
No, that's a hold.
No.
He does hold
Yeah.
percent, as does Quacker.
As long as Canopy gets to tank a bit later on, it's good on 10.
Yeah, but look
It's one
at
of
it.
those
Okay,
weird
so
units.
Quacker's castle has just kicked in, but he's still lower income than King Downs, and by far the lowest workers in the game. Like,
Yeah, and
we've
he's
got-
5 ahead of Wither. But
Yeah.
Wither has a bit more Mythium and more workers.
Yeah.
So for the next end,
they're
Wither's
just
gonna
already
be
gonna
ahead
be
as well.
behind. Yeah. And we do have double shutdowns on King Dans and Widdowson, so that could help if they were able to claim those bounties, but I don't know, man. This game is feeling pretty rough.
we're gonna see. Oh, there's There's the battle scars out of Wither. I was wondering if we're gonna see taxed income. Oh, but there's a hard now of the Mudman.
We even have the protection aura used on the False Maiden here, which I think is just really bad, honestly, for Quacker. You know, you put in the 600 HP buff on something that doesn't tank until you've already like leaked. You know, it's
Yeah.
I don't like it.
But what do you put it on in this build?
I put it on the Berserker, I think. Always.
Yeah, but
Like that way you're at least using the HP. Like I know it's
Yeah.
a melee unit, but you actually want to use the HP before you're already leaking, you know? Yeah, the AFK gun in Widdowson's lane,
Yeah,
but he
but-
doesn't need it.
he didn't need it at all.
And we have a pretty interesting magician here for King Downs, dropping it on the Harbingers and the Sea Dragon. He also has violets in his role, so he can make use of those. He does drop one here.
There's one now. There are 2 units that are not are against the magician, but get no benefit from it. But
Oh, they're expecting a send here on 13, though. We've got Quacker double hardening his Mudman, and we even have Fine going for these Pyros, but there's no 12 send coming, and I think this makes them very, very vulnerable to wave 13.
they are very vulnerable indeed. Like
Yeah.
what good units do they have? I suppose Chieftain is a decent DPS unit, of course. It has magic, but it's not that great. Canopy is great damage, but what does he have for tanks?
Oh, King and
Oh.
Widow, they don't go here, though, on 13.
They
that
don't even
does
go for
surprise
it.
me. That does surprise me
That's
here.
like, why don't they just punish it? I don't
Yeah.
understand that.
Quacker and Fine, they are sending here, though. Only income from Fine, which is a bit of an interesting choice. Quacker, he does go for a full send into King Dan's. But King, he's got double Harbinger, double Violet with a Magician Aura. I think he might do very well. He's also on a ton of value.
What did Widow build here? He built a cat, built a Berserker, and a Dark Mage.
Yeah. Alright, King Dan's, how are you doing here? Because a shutdown would be nice, right? It's only 25 gold, but it's better than nothing. King Dan's, though, it looks like a very easy hold for him.
Oh, look how easily he's holding.
It's not even remotely close. He still has half of his units alive. Like, this is insane.
What? How?
And here comes the Wave 14 counterattack, Skov. So the sends are much, much bigger here coming out from Abrasiach. We've got the Needler Drake from the King. We've got Witch and Income from Widdowson. So a bit of a weird mix-up, actually. Both players sending a mix of full power mercenaries and income mercenaries. But do you know what? I think Quacker and Fine are so far behind in terms of value that it's going to work anyway.
I mean, look at the power scores as well. It's combined is 1,000 difference.
Yeah. I mean, if they're able to hold here, that might change around a little bit, but I don't know, man. These are big sends. 620 Mythium for Quacker, 620 Mythium for Fine as well. And, I mean, Fine's build in particular is just absolute garbage here on 14. He doesn't really have any good units apart from one canopy. The rest of his stuff is weak.
The canopy alone is not. One canopy is.
Yeah. So he's leaking big. That's 124% for Fine, 110 for Quacker. And do you know what? They might survive here, but they're just falling further and further behind. King Dan's and Widdowson, their lead feels insurmountable at this point.
I mean, the Black Knight survived as well, but what did he have?
Yeah, 7%.
He had no arms, no legs.
Yeah, and Lewandowski, Policic, they certainly feel like they're missing some arms and legs right now. They are super far behind in this game. 8% King HP remaining. Jules giving them a 13% chance to win, which honestly feels generous at this point.
Yeah, generous indeed.
We do have Quacker pushing hard, maybe going for a wave 16 like Hail Mary, and why not at this point? You've got to try something. Like, we know that Fine has those pyros, so maybe they just go with Quacker's full Sui play here.
We're going to see another natural causes here.
And Fine's actually pushing pretty hard as well. So let's have a look, because Widdowson and King Dan's both pretty much on value. Fine and Quacker both pretty low. It does look like their builds are strong enough to hold against the no-send, so we won't see a repeat of the Off Madame's game that we just watched. Although, having said that, Fine. Oh, he does go for a bit of a leak here. Not a massive one, and Quacker is able to hold, I think. But this guarantees that Widdowson and King Dan's will send here as well, so they're not going to be caught unaware by this Sui play. And I think this race is only going one way, Skov.
Yeah. There's a definite hare and a definite turtle in this.
Mm-hmm. Now, we do have the Pyros there from Fine, but he's just way too low value. There's absolutely no chance that he holds here.
No. Even 3 Pyros and 2 Scalawags.
Yeah, it's not happening. Alright, we got
The Pyros are going
Kraken Mole King Ups from King Dan's, a similar send from Widdowson, but it's just going to be more than enough. 680 send against Widdowson, 680 send against King Dan's, meanwhile. Probably going to leak them, but it's just going to be too little, too late.
King even leaking.
Yeah, Fine leaks everything very quickly. Yeah. Quacker not far behind. And yeah, King is leaking, but actually Widdowson is the
leaking,
one to hold.
but Widder's holding.
Yeah. And with 7% HP on the King, I think this send is going to be big enough to kill Quacker and Fine here on 16. It is. And yeah, Abrasiet taking a very quick 1-0 lead in this series. So well played to those guys. But if you look at the graph, like, it was never really close, honestly. Like, King and Widdowson were just comfortably in the lead from wave 1, it seems, all the way through to the end of the game. That seemed like a different team, Skull. Like, Quacker and Fine, they played, honestly, really, really well against Adams and Offmer. And here they just were absolutely struggling, man.
How are they pulling, like... Because they're pulling ahead even in, like, wave 3.
Yeah, that's...
It's not by a lot.
Yeah,
but...
I mean, so Fine had to start 4 workers, which allowed
Oh,
Widdowson to go 6 workers himself, because he knows he's not getting a big send on 3. And, like, little edges like that just make the difference. And then Fine is, like, high value, leaking 42% to a single Dragon Turtle on 4. You know, all on their own, these things don't look like big changes, but it's definitely enough. And then we get a big leak out of Quacker on 5 as well. And yeah, at this point, Widdowson and Kingdowns just seem decently ahead. Sure, they got a bit of reprisal damage done on 6, but then we got this mega leak on 9 against Quacker and Fine. And yeah, then wave 14, obviously, like, even though they survived there just is no coming back from that, I think. Kingdowns and Widdowson so far ahead after wave 14 that they can easily close the game out there on 16.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, now I would really like to see a bit more of Series 1, Quacker and Fine, coming out in this next game, because honestly, that game wasn't close. And I do think that Quacker and Fine at least have the ability to make it a good match, right?
Oh, for sure. And they were showing some teeth in the beginning of this game, but Widdowson and Kingdowns, they just...
No, they just dominated. Absolutely dominated.
They are just dominating.
So we'll have to see what can Quacker and Fine do here to turn this around. I'd really like them to... I don't know. I don't know what to say. Honestly, they just need to up their game all around, because they didn't put up much of a threat at all in that first game.
As a wise man once said, they just need to get good.
Yeah, just win, forehead.
Yeah. I mean, it's a 50-50. Either you win or you lose, right?
Yeah, sure. So they have a 50% chance of getting to game 3. Okay, guys, here we go. Game number 2. Remember, Abrasiet on the left, they have a 1-0 advantage. Quacker and Fine, they need to win this one. So let's see what they do to turn things around. Let's go.
Sacrifice, Robo Army, and Magician out of the Legion spells. We see them going for what they did in game 1 against of Madams. With the
the Cartel Fiesta, yeah.
Cartel Fiesta, yeah. So they're definitely going as try hard as they can.
Yeah, and Quacker has re-rolled, so I was about to say he doesn't have a Fiesta opener, so hopefully he finds something in the re-roll now.
I mean, he has two bucklers. I don't know how great they are actually as a Fiesta opener, but
I mean, I think Banker consistently leaks now since the patch to no send.
It does.
But then you're playing Fiesta Banker, so I don't think it's good.
Fiesta Banker is that's.
I don't think he's found anything in the reroll, because if he he probably would have picked it already. So that's really not a good Fiesta roll there from Quacker, I think.
Luck is not with them.
Yeah.
He's just going for the Berserker.
Okay. Fiesta Berserker. So go for like a 6-worker, just drop a Chain Fist or 2 on 3 and hope to leak small there.
Yep. Not showing your Fiesta until later.
Can work. Can certainly work. We have the Banker here, so let's put this to the test now. Because last time I saw this, it leaked. We'll have to see if it's consistent or not. I mean, it's certainly dropping low.
It's leaking, isn't it? No.
Oh, okay. It's not
More
consistent.
HP.
I take it back. Imagine consistent pathing Legion TD2 gap back. Right, so I certainly expect to see 6 workers out of Quacker here, maybe just drop 1 or 2 Chain Fists, depending what he can afford on wave 3, and then he expects to leak small to like the Snail or the Lizard coming out from King Dance. He actually goes for the Snail post-income here into Widdowson. It might work because Widdowson drops Gargoyles, which are obviously garbage on wave 2. They do tank perfectly though, that might be enough. Because Banker, despite like obviously being understated, is perfectly typed for wave 2.
Yeah. But it's pretty low HP already.
Yeah, it's close.
And it's 3-shotting instead of 2-shotting here. Oh, but it's fine.
It's fine. That has to come down to those Gargoyles perfectly tanking, right? Because
Yeah,
if they die quickly, I think this is different here for Widdowson.
And also, I don't know if you noticed, but the Garg, or the Banker, I mean, was like killing a unit that was targeting him, and then it was going for one that was targeting the Gargoyle, and him, and then
Yeah.
Gargoyles.
Oh, and I don't like this from Quacker. Like, he's stayed 5 workers here, he's playing Fiesta, and he's adding a Buckler on 3. Like, I don't know, man. He just doesn't have that same killer instinct that he had in the first series against Off-Madams.
No, but he's also getting a Lizard, so he's leaking huge if he doesn't add this.
I don't think he leaks that huge, honestly. Like, he's probably going to leak very small here. And now Widdowson obviously is holding the no send. King
Now
Dance
he's
is
leaking
holding the
small, and he
snail.
gets to go 7 workers, but everybody
okay.
gets to go 7 workers.
Okay, fair enough. I take it back.
I mean, without a Buckler, if it's just another Fist,
I honestly don't think it changes that much. Like, he kills
maybe not.
1 or 2 more creeps, maybe, but then he has 1 less worker. Alright, we have the Fiend coming out here into Widdowson, but Widdowson is very high value there. He's on value, he has the Pilgrim, which obviously is very high value, especially when it's healing things with damage reduction like the Gargoyles, and it's only an income send coming out from Quacker, so I think he's going to do just fine. King Dan's playing much riskier there, minus 80, but he's very, very strong on this wave, so obviously not under any threat.
The question is, how will he deal with 5?
Quacker even added 40 value here instead of pushing more workers. Does he know he's playing Fiesta?
He might have forgotten.
Yeah.
That is something that could happen, right?
Yeah, Widdowson obviously easily holding the Fiend there. And Quacker easily holding the DT. But I think he also would have held without adding 40 value of Chain Fists, right? So, I don't know.
Yeah. And then there's the Oathbreaker here, and he's Fiesta, but he's behind his teammate and workers. But I guess that's just, like, sometimes you just roll poorly. And that's the thing. You roll poorly sometimes with Fiesta, but of course you do it when you're playing against King Dance and Wither.
Yeah, right, yeah. When you need a miracle, and you just get the opposite.
Of course.
Now, fine, pretty low value here, but he has gate guards, which are, of course, broken, so he's completely fine. And against no send, King Dance is chilling. He got the Coiler out, actually.
Yeah. And Wither probably getting the bank on the big wig now, right? Because
he looks pretty vulnerable on 7 though, so we'll have to see if
but if he gets 2 green devils, maybe. How bad is he really looking? And what's
bit of a pro lead here from Fine.
Fine and Quacker are forgetting who's the Fiesta and who's the Cartel player.
Right, yeah. Okay, we get income sends coming out from Fine and Widdowson. We get a full send coming out from Quacker. Widdowson, do you go for the big wick here, yes or no?
I mean, of course he does. It's wave 6. It's greatly statted. It's already at full mana from the Banker.
Yeah. But what happens if he just loses his big wig immediately here on wave 6? That's pretty bad, right?
That is pretty bad, but I don't see him losing it right away. I mean, okay, I guess he's 100 under value. He doesn't even add a last fist.
I mean, this send is massive, Scov. It's 160 Mythium. There's 2 brutes and a robo as well.
But Big Wig's tanking some, the Gargoyle's tanking some other.
He gets another heal out here. but I mean he's leaking. for
He's
sure.
leaking. He's leaking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's.
Oh, can he kill the brute? He can't.
Oh.
68% there for Widdowson. And Kingdans, of course, is holding. He's
Oh.
very, very strong here. This
And
is...
of course, like his coiler goes down to 350 HP, and
Yeah.
then when it comes down to killing the leaks, yeah,
Yeah, he's not
Berserker's
able
tanky.
to full cover, so they do take a bit of king damage. It's not much. It's
5%.
only 5%, but
5%.
it is first blood again going to the side of Lewandowski, Policic.
yeah. But they're heading workers.
Mhm.
This is the same story.
I'm actually interested in Quacker not resending here because I feel like Widdowson's like super weak to pretty much anything. And at the same time, he's receiving a massive send. We've got this Ogre coming out on 7 from Kingdans. I think this Disciple might just instantly die. Let's keep an eye out for that.
Interesting.
Oh, never mind. It's actually just tanking nothing. Ignore me.
It's not tanking nothing. It's tanking perfectly.
Okay. Well, that's even better. Now, he's still leaking massively, obviously. This is a
He is
240
leaking
Mithrin
massively.
send.
He is.
100% leak there for the Quacks, so home run. But, you know, he's Fiesta, so it's okay, right?
Yeah, he barely felt it. Just but a scratch.
He's actually having such a rough Fiesta game. Like, he's basically only leaked when it's been massive leaks.
You gotta feel for the guy. At
But
least
this is
Fine
nice, though. Fine is fully covering here with his Gate Guard army in the mid, so that's nice.
Widow with 4 turtles coming here.
Alright, income send coming out from Quacker. Fine does go for the full send into King. So, pretty good choice, actually, because Widdowson is not only 30 overvalue, he's also very, very strong here with the Chieftain buffed Gargoyle. So I think he's just chilling. Kingdans, though, what is your option now to try and hold? Because, I mean, the send's not massive here. Yeah, but the mole is really good against the coiler, right?
Oh,
Makes
yeah,
it 3-shot instead of 2-shot away. But I think the mole does die very quickly to the Pilgrim and the
Berserker.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Pilgrim. Look, everything is tanking
Oh,
a
he's
bit.
got such good aggro. Like, how is Kingdans so balanced, man? Every time you look at his lane, he has 3 units perfectly split tanking. Okay, it wasn't. even
How do you split tank on 8? Like
Yeah.
you cannot do that.
How is his Pilgrim, which is directly in front of his melee units, perfectly split tanking with his Coiler and his Berserker? I don't get it, man.
He just knows things.
Yeah, he's just cheating. I agree. He's just cheating.
Yeah.
Okay, but this puts Widdowson and Kingdans pretty comfortably in the lead. I think Widdowson's on a 25 gold shutdown here. Maybe looking a bit vulnerable on 10, but he has got this Archer in his role. I'm kind of I would have been interested if he just didn't show it here, because he's strong enough to hold wave 9 already, and then he could just bust out a full Trinity Archer on 10, right?
Putting an Archer down on 9 is like basically it's like adding 2 fists or something.
Yeah. Kingdans getting another income send, so he can just turbo push. But so are Fine and Quacker, so they can push a couple of workers. And at least they're keeping up in workers this time around, right? Because last game, they were just massively, massively behind from the early game. This time around, they're at least putting up a show, but Kingdans and Widdowson, they are still ahead, it's fair to say. And actually, is Quacker getting a pretty juicy Fiesta here against 3 snails? One more? He does. Okay, 25%. That's a nice Fiesta there from Quacker.
That's how to play Fiesta. You don't show your Fiesta and then you're just leaking small. And yeah, he got some snails and he wasn't prepared for it. Oh no, it's just a small leak.
Yeah. And this is the thing, right? So this is why I wanted Widdowson to just hide his Archer, because now we see Quacker sending out the Ogre, and that obviously is a targeted send against the Trinity Archer. So if Widdowson had just hidden it, then, you know, maybe he goes for a Ghost Knight or something like that the Trinity Archer is really strong against.
What will Quacker do? What will he go for? It almost has to just be a brute.
Is Hermit?
Dino? I think
No,
Dino. I actually think Dino's a
No.
really bad send
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because now,
because now his ogre's getting insta sniped.
yeah, you want everything else to go on the Kingpin
Yeah.
and just have the Trinity.
I think the Dino's a really bad send. I think that should be either a Hermit or a Brute, right?
I would go for Brute King
I
up.
mean, it's working, but the leak is very small, where it could have actually been decent. I think
Yeah.
if that ogre had stayed alive.
I'm pretty sure Brute King up leaks way more than 19%.
Yeah. But it is a shutdown, so it's something on the side of Lewandowski.
And it is denying Bigwig and Banker, so there's that.
Yeah, he has lost the gold. But if you just look at the worker situation, Scottford, you've got 23 for Widdowson, 21
Yeah.
for King Downs, and Quacker, the Fiesta player, is lagging behind with just 17.
And Fine is doing pretty good on income, but then again, Widder and King sitting on a massive amount of lithium.
Yeah, and Fine just continues to income send against King Downs. And I don't know about you, but I think King Downs is actually a good enough player to be able to scale when they're getting income sent every wave, you know? And
No, I
he certainly
mean-
seems to be doing that.
I don't think King can do that.
True, he's a player.
Yes, everybody knows.
Alright, here comes the full send now from Widdowson and King Downs on wave 12. Fine does have a DK already showing here, but
But-
he's pretty far behind in terms of value, obviously.
And wave 12 is a massive DPS wave,
Hmm. Now,
whereas the DK really loves one of the tanky wave.
yeah. I mean, he's got good value. He's got 2 alpha males, a lioness with 3 stacks, and the DK, so it's not just the DK on its own.
Yeah,
He's got quite a
and
few good
I'm quite
units.
curious, like, called pack leader and an ogre. I think would be much better than mole.
Quacker's going to
Mole
look
is like-
huge, though. Like, Quacker's very, very weak here, and that's a big send. 520 for Fine, 540 for Quacker. We need to keep an eye on this Dread Knight, I think, because if that dies early, it's all over, and it is
Getting
taking
focused.
damage now. Meanwhile, Quacker, 125% leak there in lane 4. The Dread Knight is
But there
dead
goes
as
the DK.
well. This is going to be some serious king damage here on wave 12. Yeah, 79% for Fine, so he did well.
200. I mean, he did well, but it's still a 204% total,
Yeah,
right?
combined leak, right? And they have decent king upgrades, but it just is not going to be enough. They're taking so much damage here. The one shining light is that Fine and Quacker save their Mythium here, so, you know, they have a bit of counterattack potential coming up, but King Dans and
when-
Widdowson, they're just absolutely flying now. Look at this. 50 gold shutdown, 25 gold shutdown on King as well. I can certainly see wave 14 being a thing, though. Like, Widdowson's build looks... Yeah, the Sorcerer Archer. I just take it
Sorcerer
back,
Archer.
man. He's just so strong. He's just so
Never
strong.
mind what you just said.
Yeah.
And both of them have pilgrims buffing green devils.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you even do? And how, like, King, he has so few fighters.
Yeah.
It's actually disgusting how well he's doing with this
Yeah.
build. It feels so basic, so simple, and still he's just
Yeah, he's just
having
crushing.
a massive performance.
All right.
He
We
just
do
knows how
still
to-
get this wave 14 send, though, coming out from Fine
Yeah.
and Quacker. So we'll have to see. They need to do some serious work here. But having said that, they also need to hold their own lanes because King Dans and Widdowson, they're not going for Income King here. They're going for the throat. They think they can just end the
Yep.
game. I think they might be right.
Okay, he just up 2 harbingers and then he pulled back on one of them.
Oh, Quacker does have a hidden Doomsday. That might be something.
It is a doomsday. But is it enough? Does he have enough to tank for
I
the
mean, he's
rest
massively undervalued. He's 500 undervalue. I think Fine is about 200 undervalue as well when he finishes building. The send's pretty big coming out from King and Widdowson. right, Scott, we've got 680 for Widders, 620 for King, 420 and 480 for Fine and Quacker. Can anybody hold here? I think Quacker needs to hold if they want any hope of staying in this game, but I don't think he's got enough value. I mean, his Doomsday is doing work, but it's not going to be enough. Fine, he's going down as well. Kingdown's sure he's going to leak, but it's not even that bad. And meanwhile, Widderson, yeah, again, a small leak from him. 85 for King, but here we go. 78 on Quacker, 74 on Fine.
There's not enough King
Yeah.
upgrade.
They just lost too much HP on 12, right?
A full King is not even surviving this.
Yeah. I mean, look, you know, Abrasiate, they do take the series 2-0, but Fine and Quacker, I think they played well in the second game. Like, the first game was very one-sided, and actually, if you look at the graph, this one was one-sided, but it felt a bit more back and forth this time around. Like, we got...
But also, you got a feel for Quacker going for the Fiesta and then just not finding anything.
Yeah, he didn't find anything, but I also think he made some questionable decisions with, like... I feel like he could have been 6 workers on 3 and probably just be happy with leaking a couple more creeps. And then you definitely don't have 2 chain fists on 4 when you're playing Fiesta. Like, come on, man, just push the 8th worker already.
I gotta go try out the Wave 10 send against Widder.
Yeah. Oh, like the Ogre Dino? I think if you have the Hermit there, he's just going to leak pretty badly.
I'll try with the Ogre Hermit, see what that...
Yeah.
See how that goes.
Let us know. Let us know. But yeah, so guys, we do have a 2-0 victory there for Kingdowns and Widderson, which means they are guaranteed through till tomorrow's semi-final event. Quacker and Fine, they are not out of the competition yet. They will have a chance to face off against Off Madams again in the last chance match. So a repeat of the first series. We'll have to see if they can come victorious from that one the same way they did in the first match.
So Ogre Hermit.
Yep.
Is 69%.
Oh, 69. Now, I'm not actually a mathematician, and obviously Julian isn't here today, but is 69% better than 13% or whatever
it was? 19.
19%, yeah.
Hard to tell.
Hard to tell. Is it bigger? It seems bigger. No, okay.
I mean, it might.
Yeah. We need Dr. Julian here to confirm. Like, I don't know.
Looking at Brood Hermit, Brood Ogre, of course, that's 54. So of course,
the Dino is just int, man. Like, if you're sending a single big power mercenary on 10, you never want to send one tank with it because that always happens. The tank dies and then your mercenary just gets sniped, and all of that value that he needed from the Ogre is just completely lost when it dies like that. So yeah. All right. Meanwhile, Scovtrold. We don't have another game to watch in this group, but we could hop in to see Shadow Wings and Eidetic versus No Style No Balls. They're on game number 3 right now.
All right.
Do you want to spectate that one real quick?
Yeah, I'm gonna have one last thing here to see. Oh, that's not better. All right. So Shadow Wings.
Let me just update the scoreboard real quick.
I just looked over to the chat. You gotta see Sudakaiba's message. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, well, sorry Seto, but I'm gonna have to switch to the game instead. We are joining partway through. This is game number 3. Shadow and Eidetic, the known inters versus the no Funjo on the right. The series is tied, so everything to play for here in game number 3. We see big sends on wave 8 against the known inters, but with the bonk coming out from Eidetic, and with
Shadowing's leaking here as well as Eidetic.
Yeah. Shadow, that's a juicy Fiesta for him.
But he's Fiesta. It's Fiesta Cartel against Chaos Cartel.
Yeah.
Real quick. No style, no balls, both holding.
Yeah, but they only received Income King, right? And this was a massive send here, it looks
Look at
like.
the King HP as well.
260
Shadowing
on...
Eidetic under 50%, going down to 42, 41.
They got some regen, though. I think they're in a fine spot, honestly.
Okay,
like, They're unfavoured. Jules is giving them 37% chance to win. But I think they've got options here. They're certainly not out of the game.
I'm also not too keen on Shadowing's build, but I don't know. Might prove better later. No style preparing for wave 10.
Hmm.
He's going a banker as well with Big Wig. He's highly overvalued though.
Yeah. It looks like we have full regen here coming out from Eidetic, so they're hoping to recover some of that lost King HP, which I think is fine if they just want to play for a bit of a late game. Like, look at these rolls. Shadowwings has Disciple Boar, which is just disgusting in the late game, like very, very strong, especially
Yeah.
with like the Glacial Touch on your Starcaller. I think that's a really good combo. And Eidetic is just playing for income here. Shadow going for a bit of a starve, but I think that's fairly normal as far as
As
Shadow
on character.
as far as shadowing is concerned. Honestly, I would like to see him play a little bit more heavy income with this role because he has such unbelievably strong late game potential.
Yep.
And No Style No Balls going for a bit more starve themselves. We've got 260 Mythium for No Balls, 200 for No Style. But Eidetic, he's very strong on wave 11 and 12. They're going to struggle to break him there, even with the Giant Snails, and especially with both Lone and Glacial Touch available as defensive spells. Okay. Now we have more income sends coming out from Shadow and Eidetic.
No style, no balls. Saving again.
Saving again.
Are they
here.
are they going 13 here? I mean, there's no way they go 12, right?
I think it has to be 13, especially with this income send coming out here,
yeah.
right?
I mean, is it 14? No, I mean,
There's a chance they might have felt forced to send 12 if Shadow and Eidetic hadn't sent here, but the fact that they do, like, I don't know. There's just no pressure anymore against No Style, No Ball, so they can very easily afford to go 13. $260 for No Style, 160 for No Balls. And yeah, these guys are just absolutely chilling against these income sends, so I certainly don't expect them spending their Mythium before wave 13 in this case. And Shadow can do okay there with like with a Starcaller Disciple Circle.
yeah. And the wolves aren't all bad.
No. But remember they took Lone as well, right? So every wave
yeah.
that No Style, No Balls save, that's just more and more of that Lone gold being lost because...
But then again, they are just income sending here, right? So...
Yeah, they are making up for it for sure. But Shadow's income sending with 11 workers here. So, you know, he's not increasing his income by that much.
Well, that's true. But this is quickly counteracting the Lone.
Mm.
And then...
But every time they do it, No Style, No Balls can push more workers as well, right? So when the send does come, it's going to be that much bigger.
Is it going to be a 13 or is it going to be a 15? That's the question, I think. Because they might just go for the 15 here.
Or you think they just go straight 15? That would be disgusting.
That would be disgusting. Oh, okay, here comes the sends.
Alright. Big sends coming out, so we've got the double 4 eyes here from No Style, No Balls. Is No Style
I don't like the 4 eyes out of No Balls. What big like...
Yeah, Shadow has no big units, right? Like,
yeah.
what's he going to upgrade to Red Eyes on 13? I don't think so.
I don't see it. Like, imagine a Kentaur instead.
Or just ogres, man. Like, but the sends are so big that it just might not matter. We have Shaman, 4 eyes, Hermit, Snails. We've got double 4 eyes and the Giant Snails picked up from No Style there against Eidetic. He does have a Hellgate, which is pretty strong here.
Yeah.
But Eidetic also needs to fix his split, right? Because he has a way lower split on the right side, and this thing's just going to die very, very quickly.
It's a way lower split.
Now, Shadow, he's actually not far from value on either of them, but The builds are not fantastic here. We'll have to see
No,
what
this-
happens. Because the sends are huge, right? We've got 760 for Shadow, we've got 600 for Eidetic. And while I do agree that the 4 Eyes is pretty bad against Shadow, you know, 760 Mythium is still 760 Mythium, man.
Yeah, but look at how he's shredding
Yeah,
away.
he's just one-shotting the golems. Like, his disciple is going to die now, so I don't think he's going to kill any of the ranged sends.
No, and
Oh, but look at this
Eidetic
as well! So we've got Eidetic killing the entire way. Oh, maybe leaking one golem low HP. But this was a massive, massive save coming out from No Style No Balls. And Shadow and Eidetic, they actually both leak pretty small. Like, the percentages are large, but the king damage is actually not too terrible here.
No. And they do have a almost fully upgraded king now. It's just they're 5 spell off.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, they.
Okay.
I mean, they're not looking great, but they're also not looking terrible.
They're certainly not looking terrible. Like, Eidetic has even managed to catch up in workers. Shadowwings is still behind, of course. He's only on 16 workers here,
Yeah.
wave 14.
But now he's gonna be having the boar disciple kicking in, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's very starved, so the combo obviously won't reach its full potential because he just doesn't have any income. But pretty strong. Pretty strong. Do you know the fact that Shadow hasn't pushed more workers than he did kind of tells me they just want to go like straight wave 18 or something ridiculous like that.
That would be interesting to see.
Yeah. I think if they wanted to play for 16, Shadow would have pushed more workers by now. Like, he should just be on 20 odd workers already.
Staying on value for 15. I have a hard time seeing them staying on value for 16. But-
He's pretty strong though. Like, yeah, well, okay, he only has one flower. He still has it in his roll, actually. I'll take it back.
Yeah. He might get 2 flowers. And I guess 2 flowers with the 3 boars.
Yeah, he's got
What kind
options.
of aura?
He's got
What
options.
kind? Is he gonna put a disciple with the boars? Does that work? Like, did they change that three years ago?
I think it's pretty bad. I think it
Like,
works, but I think it's bad.
Yeah, I remember that the Starcaller just gave it a percentage increase whenever it gained
Yeah,
mana.
yeah.
So of course, when you did like that, it will work great.
Yeah.
But
Now it's
a
flat man again. It doesn't really do much
Yeah.
for the ball. Okay, we actually get a send here. So No Balls did manage to bait it, and they're going for income sends of their own. So they are feeling the pressure here. But this is a
Interesting.
weird play to me, though. So I did think 16 was an option against their builds, but why didn't Shadow push any workers then?
Yeah, this is 2 half measures.
Yeah. I mean, No Style, he's really weak here. He is really weak here, and they probably still leak, but if Shadow just pushed to, 21 workers or something, he'd have that much more Mythium here.
I mean, there's a Fatalizer, there's a highly buffed Hades.
Yeah.
Are they that bad? There's like 2 guns
Yeah.
out of No Balls. He has a Phoenix that's tanking, not perfectly because it looks like it's dying, or is it?
Oh, that
There's-
Phoenix is an absolute
That's
juicer.
a-
Whoa! That No Balls Phoenix is just perfection here.
Wow.
And yeah, sure, No Style's going to leak here, but it's not terrible. And this is just a full hold against the 520 for No Balls. So there's a 25
my
gold
God.
shot down for No Style.
405.20 at 16.
Yeah. Like, Shadow just
The-
needed to push, man, after the wave 13.
Yeah. Look at the income sense.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah, the income sends are way bigger. 640, 520.
the small income send is as big as the large full send.
Yeah. And they're taking
No.
no king damage.
And the witch alone is going to the king, which
Yeah.
I think is a bonus for No Style No Balls.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe 19 or maybe 20. 20 could work if they get there for Shadowings and Eidetic.
No Balls on a 75 gold shot down now. Ah man, I think that was such a misplay from Shadow Eidetic. Like,
Yeah.
I think they had a pretty decent line for just going straight 18. Although having said that, like Nostal is a disgusting Chaos player, so he's got the Hades, the Arc of Justice. Nobles has the Phoenix. I don't know. Or he just needed to push for 16. But you can't do both. You can't not push and go 16.
No, you have to push hard, go 16, or no push, go 18.
Now the banker is dying to no send, so that's something. And this may well bait the 18 send from Shadow
I mean,
Eidetic. They are
No
sending.
style, no balls. Like they are leaking out of no style.
So Shadow and Eidetic, do they go here? And if they do, will they follow income?
They
It
haven't
looks
done
like they're
anything yet, but they
saving.
just
Oh no, they did
No.
auto send. Okay.
they put auto on.
All right. Okay. And presumably they finished their king spell as well.
That's a battery.
Yeah.
But he does. Is it worth it to put down all 7
I th-
if you don't get the
I
Star
think it's
Caller?
probably
Like, would it-
better to sell 2 and do the Star Caller. I think.
Yeah, I would assume as well.
But we'll have to see. I mean, he's got decent units here, and Eidetic, he might do fine as well, honestly. Ben's a big though. 740 against Shadow, 580 against Eidetic. Let's keep eyes on
580 is
these
not too
guys.
bad. Oh, look at the Banana Bunk.
Yeah,
tanking the single
1v1ing
brute.
the Brute. It does
Yeah.
get it. Now it's tanking the Shaman.
I mean, I think that's pretty great actually.
Yeah, it's
And
actually pretty
because,
juicy.
because then it diverted the.
He's got really nice focus as well. Like all of his
Yeah.
units attacking the same target. Is he,
So many Nightcrawlers.
Is he just holding? Shadow Leak 73%, but it's only 2 creeps. And yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
he's-
huge hold
Eidetic
here
is
from
holding.
Eidetic.
Okay,
Meanwhile,
we're looking at.
Nobles leaks
I think we're looking
against
at
the income
20.
send.
We're looking
Okay.
at 20 here because there's or 21, 22.
Is this game just turning around?
Could be.
Like, they don't take
Eidetic-
very much king damage at all.
No. Eidetic proving strong here.
Yeah, I mean, he got
I
a
think that-
pretty small send there. This was another
Yeah.
one. Like this, I was criticizing Shadow for it, but No Style just did the same thing here. Like, didn't push enough, sending into the stronger player, and that means that Eidetic is able to hold.
Yeah, and now Eidetic is just look at his workers.
Yeah,
He's 10
popping
workers
off.
behind No Style, No Balls combined.
They're gonna go for a 20 send. That's the question.
No, 20. It could be 20, but you gotta remember the justice.
Yeah.
Oh, it's. You gotta look the double Leviathan Nekomata.
But Eidetic is essentially Sui pushing. Like, he didn't build anything here
Yeah.
on 19.
And
yeah, they
what does
do.
he
They
have
do
to-
go for the
yeah,
20.
Yeah, they have to go here.
Yeah.
What?
Everyone goes here, in fact.
Yeah, no Star's looking really strong.
Wait, is he leaking no send as well?
But his build is looking strong, but his value is looking weak,
Yeah,
I
that's
guess.
the thing, right? Even though his build is really strong here,
Yeah.
he's going to be pretty undervalued as well. And Shadow just has an absolutely crazy Wave 20 build himself. Like the Disciple Boars that we were saying is such a strong late game build, I think it can shine here.
Yeah, and the boar still. The damage was nerfed, but what do you care if that damage was nerfed on
Yeah.
20, right?
Yeah.
And here comes the caskets.
Mhm.
3 caskets, upgrade to 3 cages of pain, upgrade to 2 Iron Maidens,
Yeah.
and a cage of pain.
So just some very cost-effective.
Oh, and he's
Arcane
actually-
HP.
He's sold a flower to upgrade
For
the
a
last one.
That's actually
So it
really
ju-
worth it. Really.
Yeah,
worth it.
yeah. You know the game is ending here,
Yeah.
and the flower is as dead value as value can be
Yeah.
on 20.
100%. Okay, I mean, these are big sends all around. We've got 980 for Shadow, 600 for Eidetic, only 560 for No Style, who does have a strong build. He might hold here. No Balls, he gets the 1240. He has no chance of holding. But let's keep eyes on all of the lanes because Shadow's doing very well. Is it
No
enough,
style,
though?
not looking too hot. No style's leaking.
Yeah, No Style, No Balls. They do both leak. So does Shadow. This might
But
come down to a gate diff. Let's see. No Fun Duo's gate opens very quickly. Shadow
It's
Eidetic
coming
did
down
have a
to a
short
King
delay
HP
there.
diff.
This is so
No, not-
close, Scar.
no, it's
Oh! Who won?
no. It was no style, no balls one because it says
Oh.
defeat.
So close, though. Man.
That's a barn burner.
Holy. Yeah.
Was this
No
game
Style,
3
No
in that
Balls
series?
surviving there with 3% King HP. That was so close. Even though we were watching it, I had no idea which team won there. Man. Okay, I'm glad we had time to step into this group stage
Yeah.
match here where we saw No Style, No Balls clutching a 2-1 victory over the known Inters, Shadowwings and Eidetic. And I do think just a little bit of decision making there, like Shadow and Eidetic I think could have skipped 16. They're not really,
Yeah.
they've got very strong builds on 16 and they just didn't push, right? So
And if you see Shadowings Wave 4 received Hermit Snail, leaked 21%. Just the Hermit.
yeah.
Then he pushed 2 workers, received another Hermit on 5. Then
That
he leaked
crushed him.
85%. That's a
Yeah.
crusher.
That's a post-income Hermit from No Balls.
Yeah, and then we see
post-income
again,
Hermit is
and then
deadly.
Wave 8 was where we saw them again.
Yeah.
And like, imagine if they had just leaked a little bit less throughout the game, because
Yeah.
it was a 1 against 3% HP on the King.
Yeah. It was unbelievably close. So yeah.
Like-
But also, if they'd done like more king damage on 16, or in fact any king damage on 16, right? Like if
Yeah.
Shadow had just pushed 5 more workers and had was able to send a pack leader alongside his other stuff, then No Style leaks 100% instead of 60%, and maybe they get some damage done on 16. Or if they just skip and go 18, where I think
Yeah.
they can do some real damage. But yeah.
It's a lot of ifs and buts.
It is a lot of ifs and buts. It is. And, it's very, very easy to sit here with the ability to see everything in everybody's lanes and say, oh, you should have done this. But it's much, much harder to make those calls in game. But, guys, that does wrap up the second round of games. We see No Style, No Balls make it through to their semi-final tomorrow. The known Inters will have another chance. But we're going to go back to Group A. We are going to have a quick I think 5 or 10-minute break before we do that. So don't go anywhere. We will be able to see a rematch of Darkquacker and Fine versus Off Madams. That will be in a few minutes' time. So see you back here in a few minutes, guys. Goodbye. Welcome back, guys. We are here now for the final match of today's stream. It is going to be a grudge match between Off Madams and Fine and Dark Quacker. I can't remember which footballers their team is named after. But this should be a pretty exciting one. We did see Fine and Quacker win the first series 2-1 against Off Madams. Are they going to be able to repeat that here in the last chance match? Or will Off Madams get their victory and make it through till tomorrow's semi-final? We're going to have to see. Scottrol, do you have a favourite in this series?
I mean, it's gonna be hard to call. Of course, Fine and Darkquacker won the first series.
Mm-hmm.
They're also coming off of a pretty rough 2-0 defeat against Abraseed.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't let Abraseed beating you feel too bad though, because
Yeah.
like it's like if you're some second tier league team
Yeah.
losing against Real Madrid, it's gonna happen and you know it. So it's like, but you know you can beat these, so you have that stuff as well.
Yep.
So maybe it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be Fine and Quacker again.
Okay, well, I'd love to see it. And without any further ado, the players, it seems, are itching for a fight because game number 1 is here. Let's go.
It started already.
Let me just sort out
And
the
we see
scoreboard.
another round of defensive spells with Hero, Vampire, and Icy Touch. So probably not the biggest 11 cents, but then again, there's not a loan either.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Offma has an absolute juicer of a roll here. He's got Nightmare, Butcher with Oathbreaker, with Vampire and Hero as well in the pool. All he needs is to re-roll into some kind of magic damage unit for later on. You know, if he rolls into a Hades or a Phoenix or something like that, he's just absolutely laughing. And Adams is going for the Whirlybird opener, so the new unit. We haven't seen it so far this Nova. Again, I really like this unit. It's a fantastic opener. Solo holds against a snail on 1. It can leak just 33% on its own on wave 2, which is pretty juicy. But
Yeah.
I don't think Adams is going to want to go for the Fiesta there. He's just going to add like anything and then have an easy hold.
Yeah, Quacker with the Fiesta this time, and he's actually finding a pretty decent opener because the
Nekomata, yeah, really
the
nice Fiesta.
Nekomata is very nice for that, I think.
Mhm.
It has a pretty decent leaking ratio on wave 1, and then you can do the same on wave 2.
Yeah. Yeah, this is
And-
certainly much better than his first Fiesta game, which
Yeah.
was a bit of a doomer.
25%, that's
completely fine.
perfect, some might say.
And the other thing is that Fine has a very fast opener himself with the Flower and Mask. So he can certainly abuse these long waves here because he can almost guaranteed just push to 7 workers, especially with this snail send coming out here from Offma. So I expect
Yeah.
to see Fine just adding... wait, why is he going for a Ranger? Like, the Mask is just better. If you want to overbuild, just do 2 masks instead of 1, but the Ranger, I think... I'm not sure with the nerfed mercenaries, but Ranger Flower used to leak like everything against Aditi.
It did?
Depending how things tanked, yeah.
I have a hard time seeing that, but then again, what do I know? See the
Yeah.
3-stack cat? Is 2 shutting the wave?
Is it enough? Yeah, he's
No,
just going to hold.
it's holding. It's just gonna hold. But
So he would
it
have
is.
liked a Fiesta there, but...
I mean, they are 7 and 7 against 5 and 5.
Mhm.
We see the nice Oathbreaker in front of the Nightmare.
He even has enough gold to add a Chain Fist in the split as well.
So he's easy holding the 2 snails.
Yeah. Adam's
What's
adding
coming
a
out of the
flower
dams?
here.
He's
on
adding a
3.
flower, and he has
flower with a
2
split.
copters in the split. What's that?
Yeah. I mean, he now looks pretty vulnerable on 4, right?
Is
Well,
he
he's,
looking?
he's very high value, so
Oh yeah, but the Whirlybirds are definitely bad here.
yeah. Whirlybird's garbage on 4, right? So it has impact and fortified, or is it actually okay?
Is it? But here's the thing, I was just noticing. Did you see? Because when it kills, it gets a new rocket.
Yeah.
So I think there's some synergy between the flower and the Whirlybird that hasn't been
true.
explored fully yet.
Yeah. Flower brings the wave low. Whirlybird gets off its spell.
And then it's just rampaging.
Yeah.
Like if every single attack is a big spell or a big
Well,
attack.
We'll have to see, because Fine is down to put it to the test here on wave 4. That is a Hermit coming out from him, and he's going to be able to send a Dragon Turtle post-income as well, or a Robo,
Adamus
depending
put
which way he
down
wants to go.
Adamus with the Pilgrim might work. Is it a Pilgrim? Where does he put it? He puts it a bit differently. Might be
Alright.
decent enough.
Now, Fine,
Off
he's
my
getting a
pinks.
Hermit as well, and Quacker is getting a Brute, so Quacker's going to leak decently here. But let's keep eyes on this, because I do want to see how this Whirlybird performs. And its ability is popping off, like you were saying, Scott. Like, he's doing very, very well here. And now the Pilgrim's going to split tank as well. Quacker, meanwhile, that's 57% for him. And it's a hold, of course, for Offma with the no send. 38% for Fine. And a Damned, who received a massive send, leaking just 40% here. It's 1 creep plus the send.
Adamus is gonna be very happy with that, and of course there's no way that Offma is leaking.
Yeah.
So first blood coming out here from Offma Dams.
Yeah, they're off to a very fast and aggressive start to this game number 1. Quacker and Fine, they're dropping all the way to 72% HP on wave 4.
That's a pretty massive king drop. I see just a couple of tier 1 units added out of Offma. Those are some pretty great tier 1 units he has to pair with his Nightmare Butcher,
sure. Yeah,
Oathbreaker.
Yeah. Big send though, 160 Mythium for Offma. He's very high value, 520 here. The Oathbreaker is tanking the Brute, so it does die relatively quickly.
And then everything is on the Butcher, and then everything is gonna go on the Nightmare.
Yeah.
So no perfect like semi-tanking of the Nightmare while life stealing.
Yeah, but still only 56%.
Only 56%.
And Adams is going to be able to cover, so they're not going to do any king damage here. While Quacker and Fine, they're dropping, they're already on 72%. Maybe they'll get a little tiny bit of king damage. It's not worth talking about, right? Like they're going to take 1% damage or something.
Are they even? I guess yeah.
There it is. There's the 2%.
Oh, 2%. Okay. I mean, I guess it's good that they're not allowed to because of the cast, but I think Offma Adams would have forfeited otherwise.
Yeah, but look at this. There's massive sends here on 6. Offma with the triple Robo, Adams with the double Brute. We do have a Halo here from Dark Quacker. Is it going to tank? And if it does, will it be too much?
It's going to be very interesting to see.
Let's keep eyes on it. Oh, we actually have 4 things going there. The Halo tanks nothing. I think what you really wanted is it to attack. Like, if that tanks 1 or even 2 creeps, that would be just perfect for him. So like this, all of his melee units die very, very quickly, and now the Halo has to full tank, so will be a decent leak for him. And Fine, he's doing okay, but that's still going to be leaking 3 Robos and 1 creep. 43% for him, 65 for Quacker. And look, they're already on 73%. This is going to hurt them even more here on wave 6.
I mean, this +4 sunglasses from Quacker, right? If only that was still a thing, right?
He is a Fiesta, yeah. Look at this though, man. They're all the way down at 38%. This is crushing for them here. Game number 1 of the last chance match. Remember, guys, whichever team loses here is out of the Nova Cup. You need to win here if you want to make it through to tomorrow's games. we have another Brute resend coming out from Adams into Quacker. He does 7-stack his kitty though, so he might do pretty fine here.
Two brutes, but he has a lot of arcane, I guess.
Yeah. But
Kitty
the
was
brutes,
tanking
the
late
brutes just
on.
dominate the Necromancer. Like it.
The brutes definitely dominate the cat, but like how bad is it really? No.
I think his split is just too high, right? Because there's something like 2 or 3 creeps went left and everything else just goes right, and then
Yeah.
his tanks just tank all of the damage one by one.
But this Fiesta, so like Legion, like how much was it? It was like 56%.
Yeah,
And
it's not
nothing
as
goes to the
bad.
king.
It's not as bad as it is for a non-Fiesta player, but it's certainly not good. Although, having said
Yeah.
that, we do see the Ghost Knight coming out here on Wave 8 against Offma, and the Pack Leader Snails coming out against the Dams. But Adams with the Chieftain buffing a Peewee. This is just a phenomenal combo on Wave 8. The Peewee becomes a massive
Yeah.
tank.
The Ghost Knight's going right. There's
Yeah.
a high split.
It is, it is. It might... oh, he's added the DT. No, I think that's a big mistake. I think when you add the DT, it allows the Nightmares to go onto the wave, whereas if you send just one tank, maybe
yeah.
you peel these units as well onto the Ghost Knight.
But now the Ghost Knight is being kited and
Yeah.
not. Oh,
So the Ghost Knight will tank now, but they've already killed half of the wave before the Ghost Knight gets any value.
and the Nightmare's just going ham here.
Yeah, they are going to kill the Ghost Knight, and wait, he's just going to hold, right?
It's not a. Is that a full hold?
Yeah, it's a full hold.
It is a full hold.
a
Yeah,
full
the
hold.
Nightmare's just doing too much.
And Adams
On the other
is
side,
leaking...
17%.
Adams is leaking 2 creeps. Yeah. Wow. Okay, that was very much not
That's-
worth
is-
it
is
for
that a
Quacker and Fine.
Yeah, that's a full cover. The low HP just went in front. No,
Yeah.
okay. Never mind, but it's still a full hold.
I really think that's a massive mistake to add the Dragon Turtle here against
Yeah,
Offma. I think
you-
if that's like a Robo instead, maybe things go differently, because I think if there's just one tank, this at least definitely goes into the Ghost Knight, and then it just obviously does 0 damage. I don't know. I mean, he also had very high value, so maybe he would have just been fine, but regardless,
No,
I think adding the
fine is
DT
from
is...
the other team.
Good one. But yeah, regardless, I think adding the Dragon Turtle is just a mistake there from Quacker. Okay, this one is looking pretty rough. Jules is saying there's only a 28% chance for Quacker and Fine to win. Again, honestly, he might be being a bit generous there. Although Fine is in a pretty good spot, it's just that Quacker is very out of the game already.
Yeah, and imagine being out of the game when being a Fiesta. Like, how does that
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah. Okay, we do
So
get a
income out of
full
Quacker.
send from Quacker. Yeah, sorry, full send from everyone apart from Quacker. We've got the Doppel here from Offma.
Yeah. I mean, Offma is like he could be a bit weak on 11,
Mhm.
but then again, there's the hero to really hammer down
Yeah.
defenses. Like hero head chef for 11 with the double is just really strong as well.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Oh, the split tanking here is just horrendous for Quacker. Like, his Halo's on the boss, but all of his melee units are on the Ogre, and as a result, he just kills neither. But
Oh.
Fine is holding, so that's something.
He is holding, but he's scraping on with the edge of his
Oh
fingers.
wait, no,
right?
he's not even holding. He will leak the mole. The Daphne
Oh.
unable to finish it off there. Adams leaks just the Ogre. No king damage on the left side. Meanwhile, a little bit of kick. Well, actually, quite a lot. They only have
Not
one
just a
king
little
attack
bit. They have
upgrade.
one attack, so it's
Yeah.
gonna be down to what 25%, even less.
That
Yeah,
was
oh,
horrible aggro there for Quacker. Really, really horrible. I don't think that's his fault. I think that's just very unfortunate pathing. Like, all of his melee units attacked the Ogre, while the
They-
Halo was solo on the boss.
They managed to have a better win percent chance than King HP now, though.
Yeah,
So
that's something.
and there we see there is the head chef and the hero.
Hmm.
What do we see on the other side? That's also gonna be a hero, of course.
Yeah.
You want to hero up the like any small bit of percent damage reduction on gates is so
Yeah.
good. Like a
I
0.1% damage reduction.
I don't see
Means
this game going any better for them as we move into the late game, though. Like, fine, his cartel has kicked in here. Quacker is just behind and falling further behind every wave, and Adams is just in a really good spot while playing Chaos, so he's just going to have a really good late game.
Yeah. So Fine and Cracker, what they need to do now is just... I mean, how are the power scores so even though? What's even that? But
I think
anyway,
that's
what
gonna
they...
I think it's going to change now. Yeah,
No.
so now we've got Adams jumping up to the top of the scoreboard, Fine and Quacker at the bottom. Still not a massive difference. Like, I would have
No.
expected Adams and Offma to be on fire, to be honest.
But what we need to do, like what Fine and Cracker needs to do here is just talk about what they can do better in the future and
Yeah.
just pick themselves up a little bit, not let us get to them. And then come back again for game 2.
Mhm. So they're expecting the 12 cent here. We've got 40, 50 gold being boosted in Fine's lane, but there is no send. I wonder if they just all play for 14 now. But Offma's very strong on 14, like unbelievably strong. This game just feels very rough. Jules is saying 27% chance for Quacker and Fire. Okay. The fact that they
21
income
now.
end here, I think their chance just went from 27% to 0.
Yeah. Because you need to go 15 against them, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's even the Chieftain, of course. Chieftain buffing a Peewee, and then the Gates are coming out behind,
Yeah.
and he has a Badger, he has Veteran.
So the thing is, Offma shifted like 300 gold or something last wave, so it looked like he was really undervalued, maybe pushed workers, but he just didn't. And now he has the Sovereign here, and of course they're saving their Mythium. And this income send here, it just seals the deal because Offma and Dams now they can push really hard, and they can choose to send whenever they want, which I'm guessing is going to be wave 15.
Damas hasn't even put down his hero yet.
Yeah, he's waiting for a white main, like he's just a filthy chaos abuser.
Filthy, filthy chaos.
He might actually end the game without playing his hero, honestly.
What did he get here? Yeah, still nothing he would like. He's gonna put a priestess here. Oh, there is the hero actually.
He does show it. He kind of thinks, why not at this stage? Because he knows the game is over on 15. There's just no way that Fine and Quacker are going to survive on wave 15.
Yeah, they're sitting comfortably on like combined 1300 Mythium. And for 15, that's gonna be almost 2000, right?
Yeah, they were also able to both just push really hard as well because they got that income sent on 13. So they've gone from 20 workers to 30 odd on both. And yeah, this is going to be a massive send. Here we go, double siege ram from Offma with a mold to boot. Now Dams is still picking and choosing what he wants to send against Quacker, but honestly he can send whatever he wants at this stage. Like, he has so much Mythium. Here we get the double siege ram as well coming out from Adams. Fine and Quacker, they are just sending income, probably going for king upgrades and praying. But I don't know if prayer is going to save them here because look at this. Fine is so far undervalue here. Quacker as well. Quacker's build actually not terrible here with the Green Devil tanks, with the halos for damage, but it's just not going to be enough, Scarf. These guys are giga dead.
Yeah, there's... Like, sure. You harden, you boost. What's he gonna do to you?
Yeah, it just doesn't make a difference.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, he boosted the Peewees as well.
Oh, never mind. He's full holding. My bad. Now, the boost and the Daphnes does shred things pretty quickly. But still, it's just too little, too late. This is a massive leak here from Fine, and it looks like Quacker is not too far behind him. Yep, 83% there for Fine. And Quacker, he's actually doing very well, but it's just not enough.
This is a
42% leak from him, and they have 30% King.
But on 15, the percentage is doesn't necessarily show how much King damage you take.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the boss is only 30%, 3% each, and they can do a lot to a King.
Yeah. That was a rough game 1, actually, for Quacker and Fine. With
Very rough.
The Chaos and Cartel pickups there from Off Madame's. Now, that is their best mastermind, I think. So, if there's something to take away from Quacker and Fine, is the fact that Off Madame's now have used up their best mastermind options. But just look at this graph, man. Like, pretty much the entire game. Apart from that wave 4, Adams and Offma were just in a massive lead from start to finish. They dominated this game. There's not really much more to say about that. Like, Quacker and Fine, they're 9% HP already on wave 10, and then with this income send on 13, they've just lost the game already.
Yeah.
There's no coming back from that, I think. And Off Madame's, of course.
I have to say though, on wave 8, the DT did no difference.
Okay, did you try it with like a Robo instead?
I tried it with the Robo. I mean, okay, there's a small difference, but that might just come down to pathing, because like the Butcher's alive is the last thing.
Okay.
But
he still holds.
Oh, he's leaking. Because the Butcher's alive is the last thing. I don't think a Butcher can solo a single creep.
Well, how much is the leak though? Because obviously he full hold.
That was 33%, I think.
Okay,
I quit
so
before because
not
I have
massive. Not massive.
Not massive at all.
But still better than holding, though, you have to say.
It is better than holding, yeah. But for a while it looked like the Ghost Knight would be kited even further around.
Alright. Well, I mean, that was certainly a rough game 1 there for Quacker and Fine. But we do know that they are capable of beating Offma and Adams because they did it in the first series. So can they, get themselves back together? Can they come over this kind of... Because you've got to be feeling a little bit tilted after a game like that, right? They just got
and also
crushed.
they've been playing three pretty intensive series, I think. Or like, whereas Off Madame's, they've just had a breather.
Yeah. They've had a long break there. But having said that, Fine and Quacker, they had a break as well, right? Because we watched their Shadow Wings game. So they had like 20 minutes or so in between their series. But yeah, they just need to reset now. They've got to be feeling a bit rough after being demolished in that first game. But, they are certainly capable of winning here. We'll have to see if they can
definitely
get it together. Alright, Adams just needs a minute before we get into game number 2. So what do you think, Sculptor? If you were a betting man, would you say that Quacker and Fine can tie the series here, or do you think this is just going to be a 2-0 from Off Madame's?
I mean, it's tough, but from what we've seen, okay. I was gonna say that probably Off Madame's, but did you see Offma's roll? Like, that was disgusting.
It really was disgusting. Right?
Was disgusting.
That was a dream roll there from him.
Yeah, so I don't think you can really, like, anyone can roll with that and be somewhat decent.
Yeah, for sure.
So, of course, they've got momentum now. They just won a game. And they had time to breathe in between. So I think it's still going to be slight edge towards them. But I don't think it is as one-sided as the series or the game we just saw.
I certainly hope so. I'd love to see Quacker and Fine put up a fight here. Like, even if they lose, even if it happens to be a 2-0, I want this to be a really close game. I want it to be back and forth, with a race. Like, we had like a really exciting King race, like we saw in the Shadow Wings game, right?
that.
Like, where it's so close that the casters don't even know who's won until you check the post-game screen. That kind of race.
I mean, you know how it works when it says victory, defeat. It's for West team.
Ah, okay. I actually didn't know. I've been casting
Oh.
Nova Cup for 2.5 years, and I didn't know. All right, Adams is back. So maybe to save me from my embarrassment of not knowing the basics of spectating, let's hop into game number 2. This is everything to play for now for Quacker and Fine. They need to win this one if they want to make it through to tomorrow's semi-finals. So without any further ado, game number 2, let's go.
And we finally see some rather interesting Legion spells. Because here is counterattack.
Yeah. So there are
Uh,
2 Legion spells in this game. There are allowance.
There's 1.5. I
No,
mean,
so basically
allowance is 100 gold, but what?
I think what's it called? The counterattack is actually really good.
Yeah, allowances to defensive spells. What Lizard Army is to offensive spells. So
It's just very vanilla, right?
yeah,
But allowance is 10 times better than Lizard Army, because Lizard Army, it just reads gain plus 45 Mythium, give your opponent 104 gold,
Is
which
it
doesn't sound like a
104?
good deal to me.
It's not 104. Is
It
it?
is 104. It might even be 108.
12, 24,
It's
and
108.
36.
It's 108.
It's 72.
No, you didn't read the patch notes, my friend. So Lizard Army
Oh.
has been changed. It now gives 45 Mythium, and it's 2 Lizards on 11, 3 Lizards on 12, and 4
Oh.
Lizards on 13, which, as far as I'm concerned, is a nerf, because Lizards are terrible.
Well, I guess. See
Or-
the cursed angler opener.
Yeah, and Quacker, again, having a decent Fiesta roll this time around, which is good.
Yeah.
So they've gone back to the same masterminds they had in game number 1. They're not feeling scared by their cartel Fiesta backfiring in the first game. They're sticking to their guns. And yeah, Quacker,
But how is Quagga doing so poorly with the how is it leaking 25%?
I think this actually happens a lot since the most
Ah,
recent patch.
It's because of the pathing.
Pathing change, yeah. I think it always leaks 2 or 3 now, whereas in the old patch it could normally leak 1, sometimes even hold.
Yeah, I've seen it, but it's so interesting that it could also leak. It could leak 17% before, right?
Yeah. Well, we get a post-income snail here from Fine into Offmer. We don't know if this does anything, but I guess we're about to find out. Does the Angler tank anything? It does! This is such weird positioning! Like, this is a ranged unit, and it's still managing to split tank, and that means that Offmer's going to be able to full hold.
Yeah, but not getting any stacks.
No, not getting any step.
I guess that's better than holding or
Quacker
leaking.
leaks 50% to no send, meanwhile. Like, he's Fiesta, sure, but 50% is a bit more than you want to leak, I think.
I guess, yeah. But then again, you're feeding some gold to Fine.
And Offmer has this unit here, which means that he can be 7 workers and completely unafraid here on wave 3.
We're gonna see another 700 damage
Seedling, yeah.
seedling. And it's even better here because there's so much AoE from the casket.
Quacker drops a casket of his own, and Offmer's going for a post-income fiend. So let's see, this casket might come in very clutch, actually. What can the fiend die? It's certainly getting a lot of damage into the casket. It does go down now. We don't get another spell though, right? This is going to be a big leak. 83% for Quacker. Fine, he's going to be fine. But obviously both Offmer and Adams are holding. Offmer holding with 185 value, of course.
The elite archer. Look at
that's,
it.
That's perfect, yeah.
That's beautiful. 5 kills, 5 shots.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, 5 shots, 5
Or
kills.
as the archer says, 1 shot, 5 kills.
Yeah. The bounty hunter is very low stacked.
But that was a very dirty post-income fiend there from Offmer. Really, really punishing Quacker. I don't like this upgrade, though. I think you just keep it as an angler for a bit longer.
Yeah. But maybe he's, I don't know, feeling threatened here, or I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it. And it's not like it makes him stronger on 5 and 6, right? Because the Bounty Hunter obviously garbage on both.
Oh, he's, I mean, if he had a Polywalk instead of the Seedling, he'd be fine for
This is actually a pretty nice
5.
Fiesta Leak here from Quacker. 33% to no send.
He's gonna be very happy with that.
Okay, we do have some big boy sends coming out from off Madame's though. We've got a Hermit into Quacker. He does have the Violet though, and we've got. Is this going to be a double brute? Does Adams have enough time for the second brute?
Oh, but there's no sense on Adams and.
Yeah.
I mean.
Oh, he does get the
Zeus.
second brute. This is
Zeus
scary.
Is the perfect placement for 5 and 6, right?
The Zeus is good, yeah. The Zeus is very good. But let's keep eyes on Quacker and Fine because they get some really big sends here. The Violet obviously very good on 5, but Hermit pretty good against it, honestly. Meanwhile, in Fine's lane, the double brute is very, very dangerous. He's going to leak. He's doing pretty well, honestly. 53%.
Quack a little bit.
Quacker's leaking as well. Like, that's very good as a Fiesta leak. Sure, 35% against a full send. Problem is, your teammate is leaking heavily.
Yeah.
And they're going to take a ton of king damage here, Scott. Like, look at this. There's 2 brutes and a hermit on the king. They're going to drop down to, what is it, like 75%-ish?
Yeah. Look at the Hermit that low.
Yeah, there we go.
Hermit has no damage.
Now, here's their counter-attack, right? They need to get some big damage done here, though.
Yeah.
We will get triple brute
damage-
from Fine.
Adamus needs to find a tank in front of the Nightmare.
Yeah.
He does have the Antler.
Yeah, Antler's pretty good. Very good against brutes. He has
Antler's
no
very
split,
good.
though.
But the position, yeah, okay,
that's
I
better.
like that a lot.
Oh, and he sells for a split.
Yes,
I really like
very good, very
really
good.
like selling for the split. But the
That
sends are
is-
massive. We've got triple brute against Offmer. We've got double brute snail against the Dams. And look at the split tanking!
Yeah.
He's been taking notes from King Dan's cheat book. Triple split tank. All 3 units taking some damage, living as long as possible.
Oh, the Nightmare, the Nightmare.
Yeah. Now, Offmer, he does leak 60% there, but it was 3
DPS
brute.
Antler.
I mean, his antler's kind of chilling, right? He's doing really, really well.
It is doing well, but imagine,
If it attacked
Like-
just a little bit more, yeah.
yeah, I wonder, it would probably have been
I mean, he's just
better
holding.
played.
He's just holding. Like, I don't know. His
He-
aggro was kind of illegal. His 3-way split between Antler, Nightmare, and Canopy was just disgusting. And it gives him a hold.
There's some retaliation coming out of Quacker and Fine,
Yeah.
but it's,
They
Yes.
wanted more. They wanted more.
they needed more.
Yeah.
Offman on the top, Adams on the bottom, Fine and Quacker in the middle, but Adams is not as far behind as Offman is ahead.
Mhm.
And we also see the Jules is giving it to Offman Adams.
Yeah. Now we do have a resend here with Fine going all the way to 13 workers, so playing pretty aggressively. I think he does reach this second brute
Yeah.
post income.
It's
Um,
no, it's gonna be very tight, but he does
He
get
does get it, he does get
nice.
it. Now, Offmer did overbuild, so he added the stack to his casket, but the rest of his units are really bad on 7. Like, Zeus is bad on 7, Bounty Hunter obviously bad on 7, so as soon as his casket goes down, the rest of his units are
But
gonna follow.
he's fine. He's absolutely fine.
Yeah, he's actually doing remarkably well. Casket just broken, I guess, on wave 7.
I think Casket makes Zeus good.
Yeah. Oh, he just, made it look easy. So that's kind of disastrous for Fine, honestly. Because
That
he
is
overpushed.
very. He
overpushed
pushed
for
hard.
that.
He got nothing. He sent power creeps.
Yeah. The
Which is
one
gonna
thing
be
he got
punishing
was
in the long
killing
run.
the bounty hunter to make it lose out on stacks, but that's really like clutching at
Yeah.
straws.
Why does he put another angler here though?
I don't know. Like just to spend his gold? I don't know.
No, but not. I mean,
Oh, I see. I
Not
see.
why-
Yeah.
why does he put it on? Not why does he put it this way?
Yeah,
Why does
yeah,
he put it out in the open?
I see. We do have a full send here from Offmer with the Mole Brute. The Bonk, pretty good, obviously, for Quacker, but the Mold is very good at countering that.
It's. I
Very
mean,
nice pick.
I totally
That is
understand why he would send the Mold Brood here,
Mhm.
and the Bunk was just the perfect counter to it.
Yeah. Oh, okay, one more spell. He leaks 4 creeps against a full send. That's juicy.
And
he's
he's
Fiesta,
Fiesta.
remember? Yeah, okay.
It's Fiesta.
Signs of life then for Quacker and Fine.
Yeah. It's very much gonna. Yeah, look, it's back to 50-50 almost.
Yeah. Jules is liking what he sees here. There's the Ogre coming out from Adams, and with the Trinity Archer in Fine's lane, I think Jules might be about to change his mind.
Yeah. Also the Siren.
I don't hate it, actually.
No. It's a lot of damage. It's not that I hate it. It's just a lot is coming down to whether she gets enough mana before
Yeah,
she
for
dies.
sure, for sure.
It's such a huge difference.
Alright, let's keep eyes on Fine's lane then, because this is very important now. If he does okay, then maybe they're in a good spot, but I kind of expect him to get run over here. The Slime Mommy does get full mana, but it's the last melee unit to die,
Yeah,
so the
that's
Trinity
also
Archer
the
gets
thing,
one
it's-
shot, and it basically makes no difference whether she got full mana or not. 85% leak there, fine. And
Full hold from Quacker with 1,000 HP in the Bunk.
yeah,
And
he's
the
gonna
Violet
cover.
that's ready to pop a spell and another Windhawk.
Yeah, he's gonna cover, that's pretty juicy.
So the Ogre might reach the King, but... I mean, the Ogre's gonna reach the King, but he's gonna reach it alone.
Yeah, and he's even losing a decent bit of HP. So Quacker, very good job covering there, a man after my own heart. And they take
The
very
Fiesta
little
cover.
king damage, actually.
Yeah, and they're looking ahead now. I mean...
Now
Here's
Othma gets his
the
Kingpin
Kingpin
power spike
upgrade.
here on 10 with his 58 mana Kingpin. That's a bit of a sorry sight.
That's like a 72 before the... maybe 70.
Yeah, but just look at the top end there for Othma. He has the white main gates with the good tanks in the form of the caskets. I think he's in a pretty solid position.
Yeah. No sense coming against him though.
Now let's see if these resends do anything here. Quacker's playing pretty decent value, 1265, and fine with the Trinity Archer. He should just be chilling, I think. Slime Mommy didn't get mana.
And here goes the Trinity, so there's a leak
Does
on
leak,
both
yeah.
sides.
Does leak?
And quite a decently sized leak from Quacker.
Okay, well, I mean, Jules had them at a 53%, so he actually gave them the edge here, but he's going to change his mind once again. And this is what I asked
Probably.
for, though, Scott. Remember, I asked for a back and forth game, and that is what's happening
Yeah,
right here.
it's very back and forth. And now big sense coming out of Quacker.
Mhm.
4 eyes.
Now, surely they're going to
Four.
pick Lizard Army, right? The aggressive spell for the big wave 11 send.
Yes, of course we're gonna see. Of course we're gonna see Lizard Army. I mean, counterattack is also aggressive.
Yeah, yeah.
Fine win for neither. But Fine is not going aggressive, so that makes sense. Like why would you income send into an aggressive spell?
Yeah. I mean, Othma's overvalue.
That is fair. That is fair.
Yeah, for sure. Like, Othma's overvalue. $500, but this Azeria here from Adams is kind of dirty, honestly.
Is it gonna what's
It's
gonna
tanking
happen?
perfectly, like absolutely perfectly.
Is she living? Is she living here?
Oh,
She's
close.
dead,
It's
but
close, but she does die, and that will be a leak from Adams. But yeah, Othma obviously is just able to cover. He received a Drake, a Cannoneer, and some King Ups. But I think he was just going to hold anyway. Like, look at his
yeah.
build.
I mean, Fine made the right call. I'm certain of that. Oh, look at the second angler. Oh,
Yeah, but
there you go.
now they're just in a rough spot, right? Because sure, they leaked the dams here, they got no king damage, and they're on 39% HP. Like, that wave 10 was brutal for them.
Oh yeah.
And Othma just has the best late game roll.
Oh, for
Fine's
sure.
roll.
And
Fine's roll is okay.
Adam's late game roll is not bad either. He has Sovereign and Tree of Life.
Yeah. He's got
Plus,
options for sure.
he's got the Doppelganger, and there's Dark Mage as well.
Hmm.
So, yeah. Look at the win percentage now.
Yeah, 26% on the side of Dark Quacker and Fine. Again, it feels generous.
It might have been close at some point.
It was close
Yeah.
until that wave 10. They kind of threw it all away there, honestly.
It's hard to remember how it was close though.
Yeah. It was very back and forth, and then wave 10 happened, and all of a sudden Offmer and Adams just took a massive lead, and it gave them the gold as well that they needed. Like, remember, how much did Adams leak on 11? 78% against a 500 Mythium send from Quacker.
Yeah.
While Offmer just full covered and they took 0 king damage. Like, everything pivoted on that wave 10.
Yeah.
Game went from being close to being very, very one-sided in favour of Offmer Dams.
Could something happen 14?
I
Of
don't know,
Madame's
Offmer's on
not looking.
value. And he shifted gold here.
Yeah. And he can he might probably get another kingpin here.
Mhm.
I mean, it is worse stacked than his original one, which is pretty terribly stacked.
I think it's probably 15 from everybody. Yeah, it looks that way. Quacker does have a lot of income.
It's pretty weak consolation price, I think.
Yeah.
And look, he's showing the Iron Maidens, but
He just has
like,
no good damage, really. On
no,
wave 15.
exactly. Offma can spam Ghost Knights, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, he will. And then, like, the caskets will never even reach the wave.
Exactly. And all the damage he has is the Doomsday. But
Meanwhile, if we look
if they're spending all their time shooting into Ghost Knights,
Yeah. And then
And that's
meanwhile,
a
if we
great
look at the
damage
builds
after
of
all,
Adams
yeah.
and Offmer, right? Offmer's got the white main caskets for tanks, the Zeus for damage, Adams has Azeria in his role. Yeah, this is rough.
yep.
Okay, so as expected, all 4 players going for the Force Ends here. We actually have the Kraken going into Offmer and the Needle of Four Eyes going into Adams. Yeah. I think the Needler obviously is good against the canopies, but the Azeria is just going to demolish the wave.
Yep.
And Offmer, I think, is going to do phenomenally well here as well. So I think the question is whether Quacker and Fine can survive here, because they're certainly not winning the game here. And the double Ghost Knight, as you predicted, Sculptrold is just keeping all of Quacker's units away from the wave, and half of his melee units are dead by the time the Ghost Knights have gone down. This is going to be a pretty big leak. Meanwhile, Fine, he's doing very well. He may even just hold. But Quacker 85%, Adams 77%. Offmer will leak, only very small though. So it kind of comes down to Fine. Does he get the Drake off? He does. It's not going to be
it's not enough because the Needler gets its spell off by killing the Hades.
And Quacker leaked everything. So Fine needed to be able to hold and cover, which he just couldn't. And they are... I don't know if they're dead or if they're just... might as well be. And it looks like they are... might as well be dead.
They were down to 70 HP on the king. 70.
Yeah, that's crazy. Now,
Well,
they
what
did get a
do you
shot
do
down on
now?
Offmer, right? They did. And they did actually get the first meaningful king damage of the game, with Offmer Downs dropping down to 61%. And Quacker is not in a terrible position here. He does have the highest income in the game. They're going to shift some value here, maybe try and bait a 17 send. Yeah, everybody's shifting gold, actually, apart from Fine, who did build here, but he's also pushing pretty heavily. Question is, do they try and go for a 17 send or an 18? And I think if it's 17, Offmer's just easily holding because he's shifted 600 gold here, so he can just have infinite value on 17.
Yeah. Also, the gates are really good on 17,
Yeah,
especially white man gates, and
Yeah,
he's gonna he has 2 kingpins.
yeah. Surely
the
there's
best.
no send coming out on 17. Surely not.
I mean, Adams is not the greatest, but I think the gates are enough to deter them.
Everybody saves. Okay, that's good. So now we're going to see Offmer upgrade his double Hellgate, of course. He's still got 400 gold left over. Yeah, he's just going to go for some antlers in the split.
Quacker knows it's 18.
That's good. That's a good call there from Quacker, making the right decision.
Just, I mean, and it's a pretty easy call to make, I think, because you know you're like, if they goes 17,
Yep.
you're just lost.
Yeah,
But they're not gonna go 17, so you have to go 18,
yeah. Hmm.
and then
Now-
it doesn't matter if you build for 17.
Fine has pushed really hard. He's gone up to 46 workers. He's 1,000 undervalue already on wave 17, so he's not holding anything on wave 18, even though he's got a pretty good roll for that wave.
Are we gonna see natural causes?
No, no way. Like Quacker's easy holding.
I guess the
Doomsdays are just OP.
the Doomsday are just shredding the wave, yeah. Having the like deals 800 damage
Mhm.
a pop.
Now we've got Witch spam coming out from Fine into
Ooh,
Offmer.
even Quacker's holding.
Yep.
That's actually pretty. Or Fine is holding. I mean, Fine is holding.
Yeah. Maybe you would have wanted him to leak, honestly, like to try and just get the extra Mythium while you have the work lead, because he's continuing to Sui push. He's gone up to 57 workers from 46. He's really committed to breaking Offmer here. Question is, can Quacker hold for long enough? He is going for this Arc Tear spam, but what worries me is that he just doesn't really have any damage for the wave. Like, he's got
do you mean?
3
He just put
Violets
his
and
Seraphim
1
down.
Seraphim, but, you know, he's not one-shotting the creeps here.
Yeah, the Iron Maiden's a pretty dead value here.
Quacker is the
I mean-
closest player to value. So maybe it comes down to a race. We've got 1160 for Offmer, 800 for Adams, 960 for Quacker, and 820 for Fine. But of course, Fine, he's not holding anything. He's basically full Sui. Oh, the Azeria, that's an illegal amount of tanking there for Adams. He's doing exceptionally
And
well.
the tank and the Shaman.
Fine leaks everything, and Quacker, he is not far behind. He's actually performing worse than both Offmer and Adams,
Yeah.
and that is all she wrote. Offmer Adams are your victors here in the losers match. That means Quacker and Fine, unfortunately, won't be going through till tomorrow's semi-final, but very well played, Offmer and Adams,
Very well
securing their
played.
well-deserved spot.
Well, there you have it. Quacker and Fine doing well in the first series, but Offman and Adams pulling himself together,
Yeah.
having a bit of a rester in between the series, coming back in this last
Came back
series
swinging.
of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This wave 10 was just so devastating, man. Like, Fine got destroyed on wave 9, 85% lead, but Quacker was able to cover. They took
Yeah,
barely any
then-
king damage.
Quacker got destroyed on.
But wave 10 was just absolutely devastating. Like, I don't know. I feel like the Elite Archer ad is bad there for Fine. Like, he can just make another Royal Guard or something for tank value, and then he probably just easy holds.
Yeah. You just there's no reason to add another bit of pierce damage there.
Yeah. Like,
As
I think just the meat is going to be enough for him to hold there.
Yeah, you have enough damage. You need the tank.
Yeah. And yeah, Quacker obviously just getting
Also,
absolutely
if
obliterated.
he has 145 gold, he might have 150 as well.
Mhm.
So maybe if he adds like 2 bucklers in front and a buckler behind the slime siren.
Yeah.
So when the siren dies, or he could add a gargoyle, right?
Something like that, yeah. Just something to stop everything from going straight on your DPS.
Yeah.
But yeah, enough about the kind of dissecting the small plays. I think it's fair to say Offmer and Adams deserve their place in semi-finals based off that game, because they both seemed fairly one-sided. Actually, like the second game was a bit closer for the first 9 waves, and then after wave 10, Offmer and Adams were just in a massive lead. So yeah, that does mean that Offmer and Adams are guaranteed their place in the semi-finals tomorrow, as are Kingdans and Widdowson, who we saw win their game pretty easily against Fine and Quacker. But let's see, so do we have No Greed Balls Feed? They've won their game against Neuer e Haaland, which means there are no more games to watch, Skovtrold. So we have concluded both Group A and Group B. Do we have a final bracket then? It looks like we have... Oh wait, Neuer e Haaland, that's Drakir and Lucy, right? So Drakir and Lucy have lost their day 1 game against the No Greed Balls Feed duo. That's pretty spicy as an upset.
Drakir and Lucy out of the tourney.
They are out of the tourney, yes. So last month's winners are out on day 1 here in the April Nova Cup. So that means that the bracket for tomorrow is Abra Seat up against No Greed Balls Feed, and then Offmer Dams will be playing up against the Chaos Chemists. So that's Atrocity and In the Hole. Pretty spicy games all around. I think that's going to be some exciting games to watch, guys. So make sure you are back here tomorrow, same time, for the semi-finals. Those are going to be some enjoyable games. But before we go, I want to say the usual shout outs to the tournament organisers, everything they do behind the scenes to make sure things run smoothly. My beautiful co-caster Skovtrold, who actually ditched dinner with his girlfriend to be here casting with us tonight. So thank you for that, man. It's been a blast.
Not entirely true though, but let's.
She knows what's up. She's a big Legion
Yes.
fan, right? For sure.
Of course, she's been watching the stream all night.
Okay. And of course, Auto Attack Games, who make everything possible, sponsoring the tournament, and of course developing the game that we all know and love. Exciting news with those guys merging with Ninja Kiwi as well, so I really hope to see bigger and better things coming out of the Legion TD2 scene now that that is on the cards. I think that can certainly help to reach a wider audience, and more resources for the development as well is always a good thing. So that's a very exciting development, I think. We'll have to see what comes of it. But yeah, guys, make sure you're back tomorrow for the Nova Cup semi-finals. Those are going to be some absolutely juicy games. But that's all from me. Skovtrold, any final words from you, my friend?
No, I just want to say thank you for having me, and it's a great pleasure.